We're back, baby. The gang is back together. I'm Jeff Ketchum. That is Chad Hastings. We used to do a show in the city of Austin called The Drive on a little station that used to be called 104.9 FM The Horn, and it's not anymore. And today, on the debut of Orangebloods Live, 9 hours. This is the middle part. We're the sweet spot. Anwar Richardson debuted for us, 8 to 11. Chad and I will be going from 12 to 3 every single day. I cannot tell you how excited I am. Chad is one of my best friends in the world. And like, we haven't talked as much as we wanted to in recent years. It's been 11 years, Chad, since we've done a show together. And today, as I tell everybody, like the video, subscribe to the channel, get notifications. Oh, by the way, Billy Liucci is going to join us at 1:20, and former Longhorn Michael Griffin is going to join us at 2:20. So we have the guests lined up. It's going to be a powerhouse first show. And yet, I can't help but begin with the warm and the fuzzies because we're back again. The only thing missing, no offense to Blake, is at some point we will have to get Dustin and AT on this bad boy together and really take it back towards memory lane, Chad.
It's unbelievable. And I'm excited. The first thing I saw, I'm going to have to get used to this chat thing. The first thing I saw was no. And there was some positive that followed that. But Ketch, I got to tell you, there's a lot of things I'm excited about, but let me start with some good old-fashioned radio-ish issues, because I'm hearing everything in a massive delay right now. So I have no idea if I'm the only one. So we'll deal with all that. It's fantastic. But I'm very excited about this as well. I'm looking forward to getting into this new thing. The old saying, I guess, would be, how do you know when it's time for a new career? When they tell you can't do the other one anymore. That's kind of how you figure that out.
You got fired.
I did.
That happened.
It's a good signal. It's a good signal.
Hey, take your earpieces out and just let the audio from the computer play.
Okay, but I don't think I can hear you if I do that. Can I?
Why wouldn't you? Unplug your earphones. And then I think it'll work better without the delay.
I can hear you that way.
I'm just saying.
No, I can't hear you that way.
Okay, we'll figure this thing out as we go. We got a cool 2-minute break coming up in 15 minutes. Stay tuned. For those of you who don't know, look, Chad Hastings and I did a show together from 2008 through 2012 when I got fired roughly 11 years ago in like a couple of weeks, right? What was the official date? It was July something.
So St. Patrick's Day, 2008.
Yep.
And then the last show was y'all got let go on the 12th of July. Last show, my tribute show, was the 13th of July, 2012.
So it's been a little over 11 years.
Yeah, like you and I have talked about, it's weird how Texas and Texas A&M playing in football just kind of weirdly mirrors us, because we did a show just past when they played football, and now, of course, they're about to play football again. It's crazy.
For those of you that are just jumping in, Chad went to Texas A&M. He is an Aggie. He jokes that he's oftentimes called both a 2%er. I call him the 0.2%er. And sometimes he's the good Aggie as well. Like there's a lot of variations to the type of Aggie that you are. I obviously own and operate Orangebloods.com. I've covered Texas football. I went to UT. This show, we hope, if you watched our show the 4 years we did it freaking a decade ago, you know that we're going to have a good time. You know that there are going to be times when we go completely off the rails. Like that's part of the deal. But one of the cool things that we're going to do is there's going to be a lot of UT football, a lot of A&M football centric discussion. The rivalry matters again. The SEC matters more than ever. Today's the beginning of Texas football. And oh, by the way, Jimbo Fisher has a press conference at 2:00. So one of the things that we'll be doing in this show on a daily basis is we're not ignoring the elephant in the room. Texas football is the driving force, but the rivalry is back. If there was ever a time for Chad and I to do a show together, and where the focus, Chad, is so much Texas football, SEC and A&M football together, it's now. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be so much fun. By the way, just so everyone can continue to make fun of me in the chat, I just fixed the problem, Ketch. Get ready to laugh. I had the show up as I'm seeing it, and I had a separate page opened up when I was listening to Anwar earlier, and they were both happening at the same time. Insert your Aggie jokes here and add a super chat. I'll learn that part later on. I will learn that part later on. Yes, it is.
Hey, real quick, Chad.
I'm so excited. Yes?
Super chats. Like, we will engage with the community.
Whew.
We would love your super chats as well. And just like any other show that we do, somebody can be the first super chat of the show and can get things started. So guys, feel free. We got the show packed.
Hey, you know what? It's like the legend of something, Ketch. It's like, for me, super chats is like hearing about when Texas and Texas A&M won 10 games a year in football. It's something I've heard about. It's something I think can happen, but I've never seen it happen. So I know it's like teach me how to Dougie for the dance. So hey, teach me how to super chat. I'll do whatever I need to do. I'll do whatever I need to do. I hear it's a great thing.
We're waiting for that first super chat. You need to know, Chad, in terms of our patrons.
Mm-hmm.
Rodolfo in the chat.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of like who to compare him to. He will always be here. He will almost always be first.
Nice.
He is
$2.
The original. Have you ever felt cheaper in your entire life?
Woo! Hey, you know what? They started with Better Off Dead. $2. $2. We know it's going up from there. Thank you, Brian. That is so cool, man. That's awesome.
Brian, you are officially, you've turned us into $2 whores.
Woo. Oh, it
3
went to
minutes
10.
into the show.
Woo. Alexander Hamilton, bam! Come on. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I'm more of an Aaron Burr guy than anything else. Thank you so much, UTSA. There's a whole bunch of letters. It's like UTSA apartment or appointment. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah. Well,
but we love you. I've never completely understood. I should just call him 802. Right?
Yeah.
I sound very cool. Speaking of super chats, Mark jumps in.
Come on.
Jeff Ketchum has the connections to find the truth and owns the platform to educate the masses. Thank you, Mom. I mean, Mark, the best in the business.
Mark. Hey, I like the word truth in there, Ketch. And one of the things is about this show for me, I love the unique quality of this show. I love how unique it's going to be. And for people that want a little bit of the curtain pull, as this all happened to me, as this situation was happening, I got so sad because of the time we're in, about to get the teams back together, about to get my favorite game. My favorite team went to my favorite conference years ago, and I love that. I always loved the SEC as a kid, but then I lost my favorite game. So now my favorite game is back, but now I was sad that, oh my God, now after 25 years, I'm being pulled out of this situation. And I had this idea in my head, And then as I'm processing the idea and saying, well, at least I've got to try to present that idea to this one particular guy. The one particular guy called up to ask how I was doing and then said, hey, I got an idea. And it was even bigger than the one I had. So I think it's all coming together perfectly. And for all those Marvel fans out there, Ketch, I don't know if are you a Marvel guy? Do you watch the superhero movies and stuff?
Okay. Yeah, I'm a Marvels guy.
So for all the Marvel fans, I want to let y'all know that I just this morning, since I had a little extra time, since I didn't have a drive into work, because, you know, I got fired. I did the Doctor Strange, like, meditation squat. I used the time stone and I did the whole, and I traveled into the future and I looked at about 13 million different combinations of shows and podcasts and ideas. And you know how many I found that are exactly like this one? One. Just one. Because I am the only Aggie that would ever consider doing something like this. And Ketch is probably the only person dealing with a Longhorn page, you know, subscription insider service that would even think of doing what he's about to do. So that's what I love about this, how specific this show is. There's only going to be one like it.
By the way, we've got some things set up for game days. We're not going to reveal today. Oh, by the way, in less than 3 hours, we have another show. I just want to make sure everybody knows. You know, we've got, like, you know, afternoon drive used to be our thing back in the day.
That's right.
Now we are going to love doing the midday show. It's perfect for both Chad and I. My kids are getting ready to go to school. I will be able to pick them up at 3:10 every afternoon. It'll be fantastic. It works for us. But we also acknowledge that the afternoon show here on the platform, which will begin at 3:00, it requires somebody who can handle the responsibility. Maybe some bodies. I don't want to completely give it away. But Thanos. I see Rodolfo in the chat. Rodolfo's claiming to be Thanos. Thanos will join the network and announce his new show right here on the platform at 3:00. We're literally smack dab in the middle of our first 9 hours of live content on the channel. Just to do a little bit of radio stuff, Billy Liucci, again, from Texas, first guest of the show.
Here's to you. Here is to you, Mr. Ketchum, for coming up with that. Last time you, me, and Billy Liucci talked, think about this. The last time we spoke on a show, Johnny Manziel was probably not even the starting quarterback for A&M yet. 2012, summertime.
Has to be.
Yeah, nobody knew who he was, and some guy named Cliff Kingsbury was trying to figure out with Kevin Sumlin what was going to happen.
When I booked Billy last night, this is how good Billy is, actually, as a human being and a guy. I just told him that I was doing a show with an Aggie friend of ours.
Oh, he doesn't know it's me until right now, like if he's watching?
Correct.
Oh, man. Thank you, John. No, wait, Ketch. People just do super chats for no reason. There's no question. There's no comment. They're just literally putting something in the tip jar.
Yeah, and sometimes they accidentally hit that button before they put their question in.
Are you kidding me?
So,
that's
like,
fantastic.
If John were to then follow it up, we cut him some slack.
Okay.
And put a comment up.
Okay. I also love that someone just typed the words chin pubes. That's fantastic. And that was for Thanos, I think. That's a chin pube reference for Thanos. By the way, Ketch, do you know why Thanos doesn't have a podcast?
Why?
Because he ignores half his audience. Hey! All right. So, first dad joke of the show. I thought that I just thought of that one.
That was our first Bill Schoening moment of our new show.
Yes. Hey, I talked to Bill yesterday too. We had a couple of those during the show. But I mean, come on, I thought of that while you said Thanos and half the audience. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Now, what if I say super chat and then I say an exact number? Can they put in exact numbers? Like, could they do $12.48? If I do that, if I give them a specific, would somebody then super chat that amount?
I don't think so.
Okay. Like if I said someone should super chat $20.11 for the last time Texas and Texas A&M played football.
I mean, look, if somebody wants to put in $19.11 and 22 cents, we'll let them.
Okay,
but I think it's pretty standardized.
Yeah,
I've never seen it get into like the pennies.
I got you. Our producer says, yeah, somebody says, or $19.38 for the last time the Aggies won a natty. See, that's well done. That's well done. That is well done. And you know what? There is no problem with that, because that's Ketch. For the people that don't know, the reason they call me the level-headed Aggie, the realistic Aggie, or whatever, is because I am. I know that's the truth, and I'm an Aggie that doesn't run from the truth. My people generally love tradition, but they don't love history. That's kind of the way the Aggies are trained. I'm not like that. I dig both, and I will get to the truth. You're absolutely right. It's been a long, long time since that happened. A little later in the show, we'll get into something else that it's been a long, long time for, and it'll involve both the Aggies and the Longhorns. I try to be realistic about both. That was excellent, and multiple people have now thought of the 1938 reference. And by the way, how dare you? I believe it was 1939. So come on.
Look, where else are you going to get this? Back and forth, Texas and Texas A&M love and hate at the same time.
And truth, ladies.
It's like in Do the Right Thing when Radio Raheem has got the rings. There's love and hate together. That's what we've got going on the show. At 2:20, I mentioned it before, but Michael Griffin, Longhorn Network, starter from the 2005 Texas Longhorns, one of the greatest Bowie Bulldogs of all time, South Austin's own, will join us on the debut of the show.
That's right.
And oh, by the way, it's the first day of Texas football practice.
Hey, and you know what? I've never had one of those cupcakes. I need to go get one of those cupcakes. The Michael Griffin, Brian Arakpo project. I hear so many things. Gigi's Cupcakes, I believe, is the name. I've never had it. I need to have one.
How dare you?
I know. I hear they're great. And even if you're not like a super cupcake person and you're trying to stay a little healthier, they can help you out there. 27-25 for the last game. Super chat one. See, they paid $1.99 to make fun of the score. See, there's another piece of truth I love, Ketch. I love that Longhorn fans cling to that score. The score of a game between two average football teams. And look, my people would have done it too. But outside of Tucker's kick itself, which clearly was historic and a big moment, like that game, if you really remember it front to back, was a slop fest. Like Ryan Tannehill showed up as the bad Ryan Tannehill. Unfortunately, Cyrus Gray showed up in clothes like this, which obviously hurt the Aggies. And it was just a mucky, nasty kind of game.
Ryan sent a 27-25 super chat.
Yes, there it is. But I remember, Ketch, the look on Texas fans' faces walking out of Kyle Field, because I was there. It looked like when you get to the end of Christmas morning and you realize there were 3 presents behind the tree that you didn't know were there, because they knew, like deep down. I always say one of my favorite things about Texas fans, they are realistic. Sometimes too realistic, but they're very realistic. They knew deep down, just because the year before A&M had beaten them in College Station, they probably thought, hey, if the Aggies are healthy and playing well, they'll probably get maybe a close win here, even though neither team is great. So they walked out of there. I watched them look at each other like, can you believe that? Oh, my God, can you believe that? So it was that great feeling. So I know that's a big reason why they carry it with them. And let's face it, unless the SEC had stepped in, it may have been the last time they ever played. Thank God. Thank you, SEC Monster, for putting these two back together. Because even if they didn't know they needed to be back together, we all knew that they did. Thank you, SEC.
And then it makes us doing a show make so much more sense now.
My God. Ketch, I just went through 10, 11, 12 years where every time I tried to say anything about the Aggies, on the radio covering the Longhorns, what are you doing, Chad? We don't care anymore. We don't care anymore. I'm like, they're playing Alabama. You don't care about, I was told to treat them like SMU. Just treat them like any other. Okay, all right, I guess. So now it goes back to keep your friends close and your enemies closer, because it's such a critical year for both. You know about the recruiting situation right now, the fact that, A&M would be a little further up the, team rankings and stuff right now. Maybe they've been recruiting and in some ways a little bit better than the Longhorns have recently, but Sark is certainly doing a great job. Like, that's all fascinating to me. The House divided recruiting battles are so much more important than they were. Not that they were ever not important, but now it's not all we have. Now those battles are literally leading to the game. So I'm just fascinated by all of it. And I'm glad we get to make that the foundation of this show. You and I both agree. Anytime there's a conversation about Longhorns, Aggies, or both, we will be into that conversation.
No doubt about it. We're waiting for Colin Simmons at some point today to let us know when his announcement date is. And there's a LSU Texas A&M discussion about the number one player and number one prospect in the state of Texas in the 2024 class. There's a lot of conversations and crossovers, and there's a really interesting conversation that we may not have today that centers around why aren't Texas and Texas A&M doing a better job of recruiting in-state right now. It's a weird world that we live in where both of these schools are recruiting better out of state than they are in-state, and it's not necessarily because of the other one. You know,
right.
when Tom Herman had a 2019 class, it was ranked really highly, but there were a lot of out-of-state guys on it. Some of that was because Texas A&M had the edge in in-state recruiting. It doesn't really exist right now. It's really kind of interesting to see where both teams are going into this season. But yeah, there will never be an end of things for us to discuss, I think, on the topic. Real quick, before we go to break, our first break. And by the way, if you didn't watch any of Anwar's show and you haven't seen our breaks, Blake and I have worked really hard, mostly Blake, to be completely fair, to put together these 2-minute breaks that we think will be hopefully not as entertaining as us, but like at least more entertaining than the next best option, right? So it's like, oh, am I going to flip? It's 2 minutes. I don't want to wait 2 minutes. Is Jim Rome on? And it's like, oh no, these videos, they're better than Rome. I'll stay with you guys.
We can guarantee they'll be way more athletic than us. The breaks will be way more athletic than we are.
Actual athletes.
Oh, trust me, Ketch. My high school highlights are not near as cool as these.
Hey, we missed Jarrett earlier, and I have been waiting to click on this because before all the flood came in, he snuck this in, and then we just kind of skipped over him. Chad, yes or no? It's like our first buy or sell question, I suppose.
Oh, come on.
Buy or sell. We don't do yes or no's, Jareth. We do buy or sells around here. Mm-hmm. Buy or sell. Texas wins the first meeting at Kyle Field. Hashtag hook 'em. LOL. He knows he's starting trouble.
Oh, knows. That's right. Knows he's getting into it. Let's see. Right now, let me get the feel. Buy or sell. Texas wins the first meeting at Kyle Field. Right now, my gut says sell. We got a long way till we get there. Obviously, the home environment is going to mean so much in this thing when it comes back. Right now, I'll still give the edge to Kyle Field, an Aggie defense that should still be pretty nasty. And again, we just got a long way to get there to know, who the quarterbacks are on each side or whatever. I'll still lean home team there, but it's going to be like that environment. It's going to be incredible. For every Longhorn, here's the other part for me, Ketch. For any Longhorn that walked out of there in 2011 with that, oh my God, I got a gift I didn't know I was going to get, look on your face, and you've never been back, you're going to be so impressed. You're going to love the environment. You don't have to admit it out loud. I wouldn't say it out loud to an Aggie that day other than me, because sometimes they might not take it that well. And I know you don't like to let them know if they have cool stuff, but they did what I always hoped they would do. They circled that whole thing around. It's over 100,000. They can put 104 in there, no problem, because they wanted to go above Tennessee, because we all know how Aggies can be, right? Want to do the biggest and more of everything. But the environment, Ketch, is going to be incredible. Texas is obviously added on as well. So let me keep saying this. Here's another reason this show is unique and our conversation is unique. It is because the state of Texas is the only one that has 2 Power 5 college football teams with stadiums over 100,000 people. Florida doesn't have that. Alabama doesn't have that. Obviously, LSU only has one of those. Texas is the only one. When each of these teams hosts games on a Saturday and you get up over 200,000, no other state can do it. That's why we are what we are.
How very nerdy of you.
Oh,
hitting the
I can do that occasionally too.
That was so nerdy. Another
nerdy.
super chat that we missed, and I think it's in the form of an Aggie joke.
Nice.
Why are there so many trees in College Station? So Aggies can't see the burnt orange sunrise and the burnt orange sunset that they're forced to live under.
Oh man. I have heard that argument through the years about Longhorn fans that the sunset, I know maybe both, I guess, that's fair. Sunrise and sunset is both burnt orange. That's very, very, very solid. I don't know that I've heard that particular Aggie joke. That'll be another challenge for people on a super chat. Tell me an Aggie joke I haven't heard. Since I am 48, I've heard a few.
This isn't a super chat. This is somebody just guessing the 3 o'clock host. It's not AJ Hoffman.
Oh,
but I love that he went outside the box.
Hey, a coach
on his 3 o'clock guest.
A coach in lunacy. I love that name too. Yes, I gave AJ a shout out yesterday in my radio goodbye comments, and he hit me up and he's like, "Dude, he goes, I don't know when the last time I even got mentioned in Austin is. Thank you so much." And I'm like, "Of course. What are you talking about?" AJ and Greg Henson way back in the day.
Happy Fun Ball Show.
The Happy Fun Ball. That followed me. Yes, that took me out of the afternoon slot in 07. And then I did a show with Craig Way for a little bit, then got officially fired for the first time. But yeah, AJ and I have always had a pretty good relationship. He and I both love fighting. He has literally fought MMA. So shout out to AJ. Yeah, he actually had an MMA career. So yeah, I dig him too. So hopefully he is doing well. But Ketch just confirmed that it's not going to be AJ Hoffman at 3 p.m. Could be a guest. You never know. Never know.
Opening day of Texas football practice. Today, we're talking about that next, along with, quite frankly, A&M's getting ready to start practice as well. If I'm not mistaken, for the Aggies out there watching right now, we know Jimbo's got his press conference at 2. It's one of the reasons why we'll have Billy Liucci on at 1:20, kind of a preview of 2023 Texas A&M football. We'll have some of that today. You guys asked for it. You want one of these brand spanking new videos that we've created. Well, here we go right now. One of our very first Orangebloods recruiting flashbacks will focus on a player that went on to become one of the best running backs in the history of the sport. Jamal Charles was a high 4-star prospect by Rivals.com when he signed with the Longhorns in 2005, finishing number 57 overall in the Rivals 100 and number 4 overall in the state of Texas. Personally, I had Jamal Charles as a 5-star prospect on my Lone Star Recruiting Top 100 list, but I have to admit that I wasn't head over heels in love with him the first time I watched his junior film as a prospect. It's hard for me to admit this out loud, but I actually had questions about his speed and whether he was really as fast as his track exploits suggested he was. Ultimately, he was scoring touchdowns as a junior at Memorial by such wide margins that he really never had to open up his speed on the field as much as he just seemed to coast. It didn't take me long to figure out that questioning his speed was one of the dumbest things I've ever done while working in this industry, and that's probably saying something. The most dramatic part of his recruitment might have come on the day he decided to commit to the Longhorns, because when he picked up the phone to call running backs coach Mike Haywood, no one was there to take the call. Charles told Jason Sukamel of Orangebloods.com that he would call Mac Brown back the next day and make it official. And that's exactly what he did. The hit rate for the class was exceptional, as Charles was joined by the likes of Henry Melton, Roy Miller, Jermichael Finley, Roderick Muckleroy, Quan Cosby, Chris Hall, Charlie Tanner, and of course, Colt McCoy. When it's all said and done, and you look back at the last quarter century of Rivals.com ranking prospects, Jamal Charles is one of the greatest Longhorn prospects that ever lived. Yes, Jamal Charles was. What'd you think about that, Chad? Like, as a concept?
I love it, and that's the second or third time I think I've watched through that one. It's fantastic. I think people get into highlights now. They'll get into a high school film now. The idea of going back and seeing that, of what it looked like, because as they progress, especially with guys like that not only just become a good college player, but that are a great college player, then go on to be a badass NFL player, people will think to themselves, God, what must it have been like to be on a high school field with that dude? And to see it, live it out. Earlier, I'm watching Anwar's show and go into the one, and the one with Vince Young is just like, to watch Vince Young high school footage is stupid, and it's just incredible. By the way, we got a nice long $9.99 super chat just giving us a big compliment. So
I'm about to get to that in a second.
Oh,
I want to remind
that's
everybody,
fantastic.
This is House Divided. We are leaning into the fact that there's a whole lot of A&M and Texas vibes in this show. We both went to the respective universities. We both covered them for a long time. We love talking about them. It matters again. And Chad and I just quite frankly want to do a show together. We'd be doing this every day, 12 to 3. Like the video if you haven't already done that. I think I was just looking at it. We're under 100 through the first half hour of the show, right? Like 90. Come on. There's like 400 of you sitting in there right now. Subscribe to the channel. I think we're up to 50 on the channel through the first few hours of us being live today. We're going live all day, the rest of the day here on the channel, all the way through 6 o'clock. We will announce the 3 o'clock host, the future of 3 to 6 here on the platform right at 3 o'clock. So when we're done, buckle up. There's a part of me that wonders whether or not you guys see it coming at all. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the full day's worth of shows. Let's do this super chat real quick. I always want everybody to know, if you super chat, we will move you to the front of the line. Chad says, oh, good to hear from Chad Gibson. Thank you, Chad. This is so awesome. Your afternoon drive show was a staple of my commute back in 2009, 2010 when I lived in Austin. I'm stoked to have y'all back together. I'll be watching every day. Thanks, fellas. Thank you, man.
There we go. That's what we want. And also, Ketch, let me just say to the greatest listener / contributor in the history of radio for my 25 years, Chris Bennett. I know Chris Bennett is locked in and keyed in on social media and stuff. Chris Bennett, if you can hear my voice, brother, release the hounds. Let them all know. Let them all know where we are. We will appreciate all of that love. And thanks to Chad for that comment. And then for people, Ketch, like me, that are old men and old women, and they were listening on the radio, let me just make sure I'm right. They can download YouTube onto their phone. Is that true? They get one of these. They get one of these things here, and they download it on their phone. They click on it, and then they go to that search function, and they type in Orangebloods Live. Is that how it's done?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Chad.
Oh, and look at that.
And the thing is, if they subscribe to the channel and get notifications, then when we have stuff, they'll know.
Oh, shut your mouth. That happens automatically?
They just show up on their phone. Jeff and Chad, don't forget, here they come.
I don't have to go stand on a corner with a sign and spin it?
You didn't.
Because I would do that for you.
I mean, we're going to do that, right? I'm going to
that.
go to the watermelon stand location in Elgin, and we're going to, guerrilla market and like grassroots market the hell out of this show. One person in traffic at a time.
You and I have to go do a show sometime from the watermelon location. That would be great.
Oh, my God.
I like the guess. Was that a super chat guessing Sark is going to be 3 to 6? That's a good guess. Steve Sarkisian. I think he's busy right now. But, yeah. I mean, that's a decent guess, I would say. All right, Ketch. So you want to get into some House Divided here? You want to hit both sides and get into some discussion? What do you want to do?
Well, I do. I really want to start out with, today is the first day of Texas football. Billy gets to be the first guest. So let's talk about Texas football first practice today. I have my answer, but I'm curious from your perspective. What is the headline or the thing that if you're on orangebloods.com later tonight, and we have the full set of practice notes and all that stuff, the thing that would most interest you from a reporting standpoint is going to be what today?
From a first day of practice, it might be a little much to ask for, but I just think synergy with quarterbacks and receivers is critical for this team. I think it's the most important part of this football team with what you lose in the running back room. And you know me, Ketch, you've known me long enough to know I'm a firm believer in blocking and tackling, or you're not going to get anywhere. So the offensive line is one of those things that I would be looking for because I'm a big nerd about that kind of stuff. But if I'm just kind of your generic Texas fan, I'm going right to, a quarterback that at times did not make the connection last year. I'm going to that story about a receiver that for some reason we found out had a broken hand and all those things that were going on. I want to hear that is fluid. I want to see that those things are being done, and just the full complement of receivers, hearing the health yesterday about Nair, hearing the health about Whittington, because we didn't hear his name. That's like a good thing. That's the no news is good news for a Texas fan. That's what I'd want to hear about. That Ewers and those receivers look dialed in, and somebody would watch them and think, those guys saw each other over the summer. Not just to take a picture, not just to flex in a weight room. They've been out running routes and nailing windows. That's what I would be focused on if I'm a Texas fan.
I kind of thought that's what you would say. I think that is the answer for 80% of our audience right now. I mean, if they were going to go out and actually watch practice, it'd be very hard to take your eyes off the quarterbacks, the wide receivers. What does that look like? Quinn Ewers is such an important piece of whatever this team's going to do. My answer is a little more Alex Dunlap-y.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Hit me with some Alex Dunlap.
It's a little nerdier. Alex and I are, it's funny. I bring Alex up because he was on with Anwar during Anwar's show. I keep wanting to just call it the Drunk Unk. Put the graphic up, Blake. Let everybody see where we're at right now, real quick.
Drunk Unk.
Because it's no longer the Drunk Unk. It's the old-fashioned sports show.
God, what a splash, though. Look at that. Look at the action splash. That is well done. That makes me thirsty.
Now, our graphic is inspired by Rocky IV.
Of course it is.
When at the very beginning of the movie, the American glove and the Russian gloves hit each other and sparks fly all over the place.
Absolutely.
But I think Anwar is cooler. Like, I hate to say it.
I don't know. I'm gonna go how dare you on that, because his is cool. But now, you know me, again, I am married to the house divided idea like nobody's business, because nobody digs house divided more than I do. So I'm still going to lean that way. I love the orange and the maroon coming together. I love the boxing vibe. I love the idea that the cities of Austin and College Station are represented in the same graphic, like anywhere. I think that is hilarious. So yeah, I'll still vote for ours, but Anwar's does look pretty cool.
I'm okay with letting democracy win here. Let's just see it in the chat. Let us know, guys. We won't have any hurt feelings. The splash looks really good. And it's like a sharp set of colors. And I wonder if it comes down to how much you just love to see the burnt orange and the maroon clashing together. But I'm curious. If you had to pick one of the logos, are you going Anwar or are you going Chad and I? Let's see it in the chat. No hurt feelings. Again, I've already voted in one direction. So,
oh, there you go. Somebody already says we win. So I'll go with them.
Just one person had to say it. It's like,
that's okay. It. Now we're done. Yeah, so it's over.
The rest of you can stop.
All right, Ketch. I know we got a break coming up, and then I want you to teach me how to super chat. But before that, since you threw a Longhorn question at me, I'll throw an Aggie question at you.
Well, hold on. I got to get Alex Dunlappy real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Get Dunlappy. I'm sorry.
I sidetracked us. But I'll say it real quick. I want to watch what the offensive line looks like. I think we know that Cole Hudson is going to roll out at right guard for the very first practice with the ones. I still want to kind of see, are they rotating in Cam Williams strictly at tackle? Is DJ Campbell first option at right guard? Is NATO pushing over on the left guard? Like, I'm just kind of curious how it rolls out. Yesterday, Sark mentioned the linebacking spot next to Jalen Ford. That's not quite where my eyes will be today. I think it's a big thing that we'll be talking about throughout camp. But I think the secondary is the other thing, because we were doing the modcast here on the channel yesterday, and there's like, you can get to the third team secondary and future NFL players could very well be on it, especially if a guy like Derek Williams, who's a true freshman, if that's where he begins today. I'm just curious about how does the DB position shape up, given that I think they legitimately have double-digit guys that can play, how they sort out what roles everybody has and kind of who's first team, who's second string, and who's having a hard time getting on the field is really fascinating for me.
Yeah, there's a lot. Those are excellent, areas to go into as well. And I'm definitely glad you got Dunlappy. I tell you what, I'll save my Aggie question for you because I want to learn how to super chat. So you go ahead and you throw breaks or get to this next video or whatever it is, and then I want to know how to super chat.
What do you mean you want to know how to super chat?
I want to know. I want you to teach me. Teach me how to super chat. Teach me how to super. I want you to
Please
teach
don't
me.
do that. Please.
Why? I should do that. You don't think that'll get super chats? No,
I didn't say that.
Okay.
Like, it very well is possible that someone would pay $100.
What if I do a bob in and out? What if I go, teach me how to super chat? Teach me how to. Would that do it?
I mean,
no.
I think it's all on the table, Chad.
Okay. All right.
I think it's all on the table.
I will. You always say, you always use the dance monkey dance kind of analogy in the way you do things sometimes. So if I need to dance, I can dance.
Oh,
look at this
God.
one.
Oh, no.
Look at this message. Look at this message coming in. You see that?
The wife has chimed in.
The great and honorable Heather says, hello, Giggle Bunnies. I'm so glad that y'all are back together again. So are we. So are we. Heather claims that I make her husband laugh in a way that nobody else makes her husband laugh. So my goal is to get those great Giggle Bunny laughs out of Jeff Ketchum. That's my goal every day.
She didn't super chat, which means she didn't spend money. So I am so proud of her.
Yeah, as a cheap person, I appreciate what just happened there. She gets to go to the front of the line for a whole different reason.
I am so proud that didn't say super chat $100, Heather Ketchum, because it's like, honey, I really appreciate that, but that is hustling backwards.
I'm a little scared now that my wife might be able to actually chat into the show. She didn't really do that a whole lot in radio. So
she's a YouTube gal.
Oh my God. My wife is a Facebook monster and a YouTube monster. She's everywhere. TikTok, all of it. She's into that. Ari Temkin. What's up, Ari Temkin? That's a pro's pro right there. Hope you're doing well, brother.
It's hard not to love Ari Temkin. One of the always on the list of best guys we've worked with in the industry.
Yeah. He's doing great work at Big 12 radio, I think, still on Sirius XM. He does good stuff.
And was with us at Orangebloods
that's right. That's right.
15, 16 months ago. Before, he got new stuff and new things he wanted to try on. But yes.
Yeah. Worked with the Cowboys. Did the Cowboys for a while, too. He was with the Cowboys for a while. It was on the Cowboys network.
I think he still does that. I don't know.
I think last year might have been, I think that he may have exited that one last year. He might be back. I don't know. That was a great pre and post game show that he was a part of. Shout out to you, Ari.
All right. So here's the deal. Chad's got a question for me. We've got buy or sell. Ooh. The way it used to be done a decade ago will be back. Billy Liucci at 120, Michael Griffin at 220. And then a lot of super chats and a lot of Texas and Texas A&M football discussion all mixed in. But for now, check out this video. This Orangebloods recruiting flashback focuses on the player generally considered to be the greatest Longhorn football player of all time. Vince Young was a five-star prospect by rivals when he signed with the Longhorns in 2002, finishing as the #1 overall player in the nation. 20 plus years later, the two things that stand out the most about Young's recruitment was how much ground the Longhorns made up in a blink of an eye. Weeks before his senior season began in 2001, his mother reported that Texas was out. Quote, "We ruled out Texas as Vincent has decided that he probably won't stay in the state of Texas to play in college," Miss Young said. In just a matter of months following that statement by his mom, Vince Young was pretty much wrapped up to go to Texas. The other thing that stands out about Young's recruitment was just how big he was in the city of Houston. I went to a playoff game with Madison against Hightower in the Astrodome, and opposing fans were jumping up in the stands over the excitement that Young was creating. I wrote for Orangebloods.com at the time, quote, "At that point, the Astrodome crowd started to go crazy. People in the Hightower section were high-fiving each other, laughing, and screaming in amazement," end quote. It was unlike anything I've ever seen before or since. On the day he committed to the Longhorns in January, Vince said, quote, "There's a lot of love down there at Texas, and that's what I was looking for before I visited. They made my mom smile, and that's all I needed to see. I committed to them this afternoon." Young was the bell cow of a 2002 recruiting class that was ranked first in the nation and is regarded as one of the best in the history of the school. That class signed 6 5-star prospects, which also included Justin Blaylock and Roderick Wright. Ultimately, Young's class was the foundation of the 2005 national championship team.
He's pretty good.
Just a little guy named Vince Young.
He was all right. I like that somebody in the chat, as soon as when you said generally considered in the video, someone typed, "Generally, he's the greatest." Boom. Like,
how dare you?
How dare you type the word generally?
Yeah, it's not generally. It's like, he actually had to ask. Like, it's one of those things where it's like when someone says he's not number one, it's real easy to get defensive and be, whoa. You could say Ricky, you could say Earl, you could say Tommy Nobis. Like, there are actual legitimate answers that you can give where you kind of shrug your shoulders and go, well, I kind of understand. But until you hear it, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Let me get ready. My hackles are up. Let me tell you about number 10 back in the day.
Yeah, that's it was Cody that threw that in. Thank you, Cody, for that one. Also, shout out to Hendrix. Hendrix is listening. Your son apparently is listening. Is that legit?
Sweet.
I'm listening, Daddy Love Hendrix. Could that be real, or are people just messing with you?
I mean, look, my kid's on YouTube.
It really.
And the thing is, like,
just your son or both of them?
Oh, both of them. But
Okay.
Here's the thing that's slightly disappointing. No offense to Orangebloods Live and the thing that we're kickstarting. My son couldn't care less. It's definitely my son because Blake says the profile picture is Rick Astley. My kid loves him. Loves him.
Your kid
loves him.
He rickrolls himself and he doesn't care.
I get rickrolled 10 times a day.
Oh, that's fantastic.
There's no guarantee that we're going to finish 3 hours without him coming in here to rickroll me.
Apparently, Rick Astley is one of the coolest guys in the world. He loves the rickroll thing, and he'll go to shows. Recently, he did a show where he did an hour of Smith's covers.
I saw that in the UK.
And no one thought he would.
Yeah. It was a huge concert.
Yeah, he's never done it, apparently. Ever. And he just rambled into it, and it was incredible. And he did, what was it, Highway to Hell by AC/DC? Yeah. And tore the roof off the place. And apparently that's regular for him. He's been doing Highway to Hell for years.
So I haven't brought the Liverpool thing into the show yet.
No, Lord, here we go. Place your bets. 12:48. Not even an hour, soccer freak. Really?
But I have a Liverpool Twitter feed. So it's just nothing but my Liverpool people.
Of course you do.
On the night that concert happened, it was just nothing but a stream of how awesome and how impressive he was and how he was upstaging everybody. And it was just kind of crazy to see. I was showing my kid. I was like, you got to come here, man. Like, Rick Astley is tearing it up and playing the drums. And like, you need to see this. My kid was like, look at this, Dad. And then I got rickrolled.
Wow. And then you got that's excellent. I'm with the commenters. Yeah, I could do without the soccer talk, but you have to understand Ketch is into
it wasn't even soccer talk. I was explaining how Rick Astley showed up in my comments on a weekend night by the hundreds. That's all. Because somebody could hear. If I didn't mention that, people could be like, Ketch, what are you doing on social media where the moment Rick Ashley goes viral, you are, in it? There you go. Liver in a pool is more exciting than football.
I believe they typed foosball there just to bring the point.
Thank you, Bobby.
Absolutely. Oh, I like it. Super chat 199. Thank you so much. Yes, all caps and the exclamation. Welcome back, boys. When is Brian Jones? Interestingly enough, Brian was on the Goodbye Radio show with me yesterday, and Ketch, right at the end, he said he was getting married tomorrow. So he sent me a couple pictures of the lovely couple getting ready. So we're going to let Brian Jones get married in a, lovely tropical place. And then at some point, we are definitely going to try to get Brian Jones to come on. Because if we can get Brian Jones to come on in a video and audio format, oh my God, that should be a lot of fun. I've never done that with Brian. I have not. He's always just been over the phone. So if I get to add video of Brian and the, sexy, the sexy Santa, gray beard thing he's got going on, can't wait.
Cotton's not wrong.
This is how Ketch gets super chats. Get him to refocus on football. Okay, that's fair, right? That is fair. So, Ketch, give me a thought. Teach me how to super chat. Tell me something about super chats. What do I need to know? What do the people need to know about super chats?
Well, I would say this. First of all, we appreciate the super chats. Like, we really do. Because part of making possible what we're doing from 12 to 3 every day, from 8 to 11 in the mornings, from 3 to 6 in the afternoons. Super chats help us financially remain viable. So every time someone super chats, Chad, they're really reinvesting in the show that they like.
So it really is the tip jar. It's like we're playing the piano and they're walking up and they're throwing it into the tip jar.
I feel like we're like homeless subway guys playing music in the subways.
I got you.
And the guitar case is open.
Guitar case. All right.
And it's like, shit, man, if we don't throw a quarter in there, guitar guy might not eat tonight.
There you go.
But what we don't want to do is see the guitar case completely full of cash and you think we still don't appreciate. We do.
Oh yeah, you'd appreciate that because then it's never going to be enough because we would never want to give that up, never want to say goodbye, never.
The thing is, there's nothing that we won't completely do to whore ourselves out for $2.
Ooh, that's true. That is true. You know what? People could super chat to hear us sing TV theme songs. We used to do that for free. If people want to hear me sing the Flipper theme song, they could super chat, sing the Flipper theme song, and I could do that.
We will. Oh no! Chris Bennett is now asking for the Lou Holtz voice.
No, it's Chris Bennett, so I'll do it. But if he doesn't super chat that, do I not do it?
The thing is, there are people in moments that get special consideration.
Yeah, no, Chris Bennett is definitely one of those people. So you have to do it.
So here's the deal. Can I negotiate this, Chad?
Yes, please do.
If Chris goes on to Twitter, you have to do it right now, right? I'm not saying do it right now.
Right. Oh, no, I will. I was just going to get some helmets to help me out. Go ahead. Keep talking.
But oh God, you're going to grab a Notre Dame helmet. Okay. You're going to fully do this. Okay.
If we're going to go, we're going to go.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
If Chris will just tweet out that he's listening to the show and it's good to have us back in his life.
Yes.
Well, you can curse as Lou Holtz. He wants to hear you curse as Lou Holtz.
Ooh, cursing as Lou Holtz. I don't think I've ever cursed as Lou Holtz, but I will try that. $2 super chat requesting Chad to sing The Eyes of Texas. Wow.
See, we're not going to do that. I'm just going to step in and unless you wanted to do Lou Holtz singing The Eyes of Texas.
Now that's a combo. That could be a combo. Oh, okay, here we go. Lou Holtz swearing and then singing The Eyes of Texas. Here we go. Okay, so this is what it is. This is what you call your house divided. There's a house, and sometimes it's divided. I've been involved in a lot of houses. There's an Arkansas house. I didn't grab that one. I was involved in this house at one point. That's the Gamecock, South Carolina. All kinds of. If you have never been on a cockaboose, that's a good time. I've also been the coach of these fuckers right here. Have you ever seen this? That's unbelievable. Look at that right there. See that says Irish? That's right. You know what? That's God's team right there. All right? That is God's team. That is absolutely right. So you have that and right there. And then when the Longhorns are going to play the Alabama, that's when they'll sing the song. So they'll do it. The eyes of Texas are upon you. Oh, the live long day. The eyes of Texas are upon you. You cannot get away, even if you're playing Notre Dame. Do not think you can escape them. At night, early in the morning, the eyes of Texas are upon you. Till Gabriel blows his horn. There it is. All right, that's good to see you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Up next, Rick Astley, and we're going to play some NWA as well.
I feel like we're going to get Rick Astley on the show.
Oh, that would be excellent.
I was telling Anwar about how much fun it was when we interviewed Al Green, and he just shit-talked Spurs fans for like 5 minutes.
Oh, Al Green was awesome. Yeah,
that was like, fun. I know you guys are in Austin, and I've been in Austin before. I just want to remind everybody, Memphis Grizzlies beat the Spurs.
Yeah, he was great.
Going back to it.
He was good. That was one of those lessons for us where you're crossing worlds. And we always remember that musicians love athletes and athletes love musicians and back and forth. So I've always said the 4 things you can talk about and not get yourself in trouble nowadays: sports, music, entertainment, food. We can always get into all that. We can disagree. We can say the word hate and people don't get that mad about it. So I love all that stuff. And yes, Rick Astley. We should get Rick Astley and Al Green on at the same time and have them talk music. That would be good.
We just get out or they could talk Longhorns and Aggies.
Or you're right. Get their thoughts on House Divided. Somebody said it went off the rails. You got to understand that's not really off the rails for us. That's really still on the rails. On the rails.
Real quick, Luke. I think that's right. Liucci, right? Would still be Luke. Again, maybe I need to go like deuce, deuce, deuce.
Yeah, Liucci's a boot.
This is off the rails. Where is Anwar's show right now?
Oh, tell him.
I mean, all you got to do, I don't want you to exit stage left. We got Billy Liucci coming on in like 20 minutes. I feel like you don't want to go anywhere. But if you want to go check out Anwar's show right now, all you got to do is go to the channel and his show. As a matter of fact, I know it is because I was on it earlier. If you go to the Orangebloods Live, by the way, we've rebranded that. How about that? I actually am a big fan of Orangebloods Live as opposed to Orangebloods Texas Longhorn Football Channel. Like, it's a little wordy.
A little easy to say, right?
Orangebloods Live, I feel like I could put on the back of a banner or something like that. Yeah. Anwar, his full nearly 3-hour show is on the channel right now. It's under the past live streams on the main page. It's creeping up on 3,000 views for that bad boy already, which is really nice. Chad, it's one of the things I was telling you about that's really cool about what we're going to be doing and buy or sell in just a couple of minutes, FYI. Very radio-y of me to still instinctively set the table.
That's well done. Got to preview everything coming up on the show. Catch them. Well done. That's
so you didn't work with me when I did 3 hours by myself for like 4 years.
No, I did. I'd listen from time to time because it was on the station that I was working on, and I'd get sad when I heard buy or sell, and I'd get mad if I thought you were doing buy or sell slightly wrong, and now I get to jump back in. I'm so pumped.
The thing is, I was kind of a monkey when they paired us in the beginning. So you were a professional radio guy. And it was like, you sit in with Ketch, get him in and out of breaks, make sure he doesn't set the thing on fire, like set him up. And like now I can set you up. You can Karl Malone this sucker every once in a while, and I'll just John Stockton that stuff.
There you go. I've always seen you as a John Stockton ever since we first
Kevin
met.
Johnson.
That's you. You're KJ.
I was KJ back in the day. When I was at Shipe Park on 45th, back in the day, absolutely. Purple Kevin Johnson's son's jersey. I am not ashamed.
There you go. You be KJ. I'll get you Dan Marley whenever you need it. I'll hit you a Marley bomb anytime you want it.
So Jimmy says, oh, Trey, we're about to get you, my man. Great idea for football season, Chad. Bring our boy, the mayor of Maynard Downs, on Friday to handicap the football weekend. Would love to see Brew here.
Oh, wow. Have I ever introduced you to Bobby Brubeck?
No, but we had him on the show before.
We've had him on the show. He's one of my favorite people on planet Earth. He's part of the beginning of my career, and he's my favorite. Like, he left a job, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago at Dell, very successful at Dell. And since then, he has not had to get a real job because he's that good at betting on sports. That's who he is. And he's one of my favorites, and he can talk sports all day long.
See, this is when the love comes in, Chad.
Oh, look at my boy. Look at my boy.
Trey Rhodes coming in. Much love to my man, Chad Hastings. I gave up terrestrial. I always think that's a great word.
Yes,
just to say out loud. Terrestrial radio years ago, and missed this dude. Stoked for this new show. This is the first time GK and OB have ever got me to open my wallet after 10 years of freeloading. Big 12 champ. ...
There it is. All right. So just to let you know, that's my guy. Long before I met you, Trey is a Longhorn through and through. He's the guy that I had season tickets with for Ricky's senior year. This is where the Aggies start throwing up. But he is one of my best friends, Longhorn guy. We went to games together. We went to that Missouri game where it rained all day and they had to stop the game at night. We went to Route 66 together. We won't talk about the details, but yeah, shout out to Trey. He's a big Longhorn guy and good to hear from him. He and I haven't spoken in a long, long time. So seeing his name just made me happy.
There you go.
Yeah. And a Waxahachie boy, if I didn't mention that.
Little tear to the eye right there.
Single tear. Waxahachie love. Shout out to all the Indians out there.
Now, I have sent the information to Billy via Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's read it yet, but at 1:20, Billy Liucci will join us.
Now, wait, you just sent him the link he's supposed to join out on Twitter where anybody could grab it and join in?
No.
Oh.
They have these things called private messages.
All right, I'm just making sure.
Did you just send that link so that any Tom, Dick, and Harry can click on it on Twitter and suddenly got 400 people and Restream crashes and Blake has a freaking heart? No, I did not. Did not do that, Coach.
I don't know how all these fancy things work, Ketch. All right. It's a miracle I got that echo to stop at the beginning of the show. Okay? You're just lucky I can only hear.
I'm so glad you figured that out.
Oh, and I figured it out in less than 10 minutes, which is a pretty good number for me.
All right, here's what I want to do.
All right.
This is the cool thing. This is like we missed our mark for what would be a traditional radio break.
Oh, way to go.
This would get us in trouble with a hard break.
Yeah, they're going to be running
back in the days when we were both employed by radio stations.
Yep, I was that until.
Rest in peace, the Horn. You fired both of us.
That's true. 11 years.
Helped build you, and you fired both of us.
Mm-hmm.
That happened.
That did happen.
Chad, I want you to know it feels better once you hit the 11-year mark.
Oh, good. So I have something to look forward to. I'm in day 1 today, and you're saying when I get to year 11, it'll be better?
It will.
Okay. All right.
There are still the other phases of like rejection that you have to go through. There was definitely well, I'm not ever going on that station again kind of thing that happened. But that only lasted like a couple of years.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good.
And then they put me on in midday a second time, but then they fired me again, kind of. They didn't want me for free. I was such a troublemaker for them, having to come in and have meetings because me and Trey were going to get into a fist fight. Like, there was just stuff going on that they just decided they didn't want that Orangebloods free show anymore.
That is true.
And I kind of decided, you know what? I don't want you guys anymore either. But it gets better.
Okay.
You'd be willing to like go back on the Tejano station or whatever it is that it's going to be like moving forward
Okay.
in like 3 years.
All right.
You'll be like, I'm okay now.
Okay. He'll be all right. I'll be willing to forgive 3 years in.
By the time you get to 11, you're like, oh, I'll come in and sit in the studio if you ever ask me.
Okay. All right.
I kind of was heartbroken that you didn't ask me, like, down the stretch.
Down. What are you talking about?
2 weeks to go on the Horn. I was like, you know what? If there was ever going to be an invite to come in and do a live show, it should be with 2 weeks to go and like there's no harm, no foul.
I see. I got you.
Because technically, I never did another show in the studio.
Yeah,
I did guest appearances, but I never ever came back in.
Yeah. Well, I just figured maybe you didn't want to go back in the studio, and B, ever since you left for the final time, they have had someone stationed outside that building with a picture of you. So you weren't going to be able to get back in.
Kevin's like, it's only been a couple of minutes of us just talking about us. And Kevin's like, so football.
Man.
So here's what I was going to say, Chad.
Come on, Kevin. Well played.
Thanks for nothing, Kevin. You know,
now Kevin's trying to get you focused. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get you focused. You're the internet star. You're the YouTube star here. I'm the bumbling idiot. It is your job to keep this thing moving straight.
Okay, well, look, let's play buy or sell. And I feel like saying that. I wish there was a bed of music because it makes me feel like the old days. Some real like guitar solo. Like I kind of miss that. But we're gonna make this work.
You want me to Bobby McFerrin this one for you? Boom, boom, boom.
Who do you want to go first today, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, guys. If you've never heard us do buy or sell, Chad's got 5 questions. I've got 5 questions. They can be about anything at all. It's no holds barred.
Yes.
So, buy or sell number 1, Mr. Hastings. You're going first.
Here we go. All right, Ketch. Buy or sell. Hunter Deckers can't bet on an Iowa State game where he was the backup when he was under 21 and be the Iowa State quarterback again ever.
Sell, man. Let that dude do NIL. That was just modern day NIL.
Did you hear that he set the account up with his parents? His parents helped him set up an account. He's an Iowa State football player, and he bet on like 30 or 60 Iowa State games of different sports.
Look,
come on, Hunter.
Pete Rose just trying to get a meal. He's just trying to get a Wendy's meal while he's on campus in Ames. You know, the $10 adds up. You know who doesn't have a super chat? Hunter Deckers.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
If Hunter Deckers had a super chat, he wouldn't have to put money to make money on gambling. And so I'm going to be lenient on Hunter Deckers, but not good.
No, I'm with the chatter. How's it not a conflict of interest? They've taken him off the team for a while. I do not know how that guy wears an Iowa State uniform again. We'll see how that one goes, but that story hit yesterday in the Big 12.
Bob Huggins is like, let that kid play.
Let him play. And I'll
free Hunter.
Yeah, whatever. Free
how
Hunter.
Dare they try to cancel that kid?
All right, Ketch. Buy or sell number 2. If you could bet on one Texas running back getting 1,000 yards or more this season, you'd bet on Baxter.
Ooh, it's a great question. I'm going to sell,
okay,
but it's certainly possible. I'm not putting my money on any of these running backs cracking 1,000 yards, although Steve Sarkisian is quick to remind everybody he always has 1,000-yard running back. Like,
yes,
his offense always has one. So I think he thinks he's going to have one. I think C.J. Baxter is going to end up a little short of that. But, yeah, I kind of think if you ask me today, I think C.J. Baxter is going to lead the team in rushing with, let's say, 800 yards.
Okay. All right. Oh, so you think he may not – that 1,000-yard streak might end for a single
Yes.
guy. Yeah. Okay. I've kind of thought that.
But Steve Sarkisian might curse me out for saying that.
Yeah, he might. I know. No, he loves that stat.
I think he thinks I'm wrong in saying that for sure.
Yep. All right, buy or sell number 3. This is half of the stat we're going to talk about later. Ketch, Texas, and Texas A&M will both win 9 or more games in 2023.
I have a version of this question that is also in my buy or sell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy. No, yeah, I'm going to sell.
It's just for the season.
I've got Texas at 9 and A&M at 8 in the regular season.
Okay. No. And remember, the way I do this stat is I'll give you the bowl game too. Would you give my Aggies one more in a bowl game? Come on. Working for a bye. Come on.
You know what? I don't want you to hate me after the first show. I'll buy.
There we go.
I'll buy that they get in the Weed Eater Bowl or
Oh, that was rude.
You tell me, what do they do with 8-win teams in the SEC? What bowl game do you get?
I don't think
is that the Chick-fil-A Bowl?
I don't think it has a Weed Eater in it. It might have a Cheez-It in it, something like that.
Well, I said the Weed Eater Bowl because that was that Mississippi State snow game, right?
No, that was Independence. Independence Bowl was the snow game.
Oh,
yeah, that was Independence.
Wasn't there a Weed Eater game though?
I don't think A&M was ever in a Weed Eater Bowl.
Oh, bless you for that.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. All right, so buy or sell number 4. If your wife and I asked nicely, you would have called this show the Giggle Bunnies.
Sell.
No.
What
if I could have gotten you a really cool logo with like a rabbit, but he had blood coming out of his mouth and claws? What if I had that? What if I had like would it have worked?
I have a Psycho Bunny t-shirt that I will wear maybe tomorrow for you.
No, you wore it when we recently got together and we're talking about something. I'm not sure what. You were wearing it, and I thought that that's why I came up with this, because I thought that could be our logo if we were the Giggle Bunnies.
And if Psycho Bunny the store wanted to sponsor the show and call it the Giggle Bunnies, and they made us like some demented ass shirts, I would definitely do that for sure.
Just checking. And finally, buy or sell number 5. Let's hit baseball. Scherzer to the Rangers plus Verlander to H-Town equals Astros win the division.
Can I admit I don't know how far back the Astros are? Can you tell me that?
Half game today.
Oh, wow. They sucked up. Didn't Texas have a big lead?
You don't need to keep mentioning it, but yes, the Rangers had a decent lead, and the Astros have chopped them down to a half a game.
Look, the Astros, I think, are still the best team in baseball. So, yes, with everything that's happened, knowing that it's a half game, I'm a Phillies fan. I respect the Houston Astros. They earned my respect the old-fashioned way. They just kicked our ass in the postseason. I'm used to that, but I'll go Astros. They are my daddy at the moment, and the Rangers are not. Although the Rangers really kicked our ass to start the season.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that start with the Rangers.
I bet you did. It was like 40-2.
Dude, I'm just wondering if they can get to the end. I love Scherzer as a Ranger, though. I'm excited to be able to root for him now.
All right, we got Billy Liucci coming up in like 10 minutes, so we'll go through my questions fast.
All right,
buy or sell number 1. Texas and Texas A&M both win 9 games in 2024 and 2025.
I will play the history and say sell, as we'll get to later. It's never happened once, so it's yet to happen. I'm going to say it keeps not happening. So I'm going to say sell.
Buy or sell number 2, Connor Weigman is every bit as good as Quinn Ewers is right now.
Man,
keep in mind, I don't know that we know how good either one of these two guys is.
That's fair. I'm going to say sell, because I don't think we've seen a moment from Weigman yet that would make me feel like I felt when Quinn Ewers carved OU up that day. So I'm going to say sell right now.
All right. I'm shocked that sell is overwhelmingly the answer to the Weigman question. Buy or sell number 3. You've seen neither Barbie or Oppenheimer.
Sell. I saw Barbie. I'm probably going to see Oppenheimer in the next week or so. I've seen Barbie.
And I saw Oppenheimer last night the second time.
Yes. Would
Yes.
you be okay if the Oscars were just completely run by both?
I think we're going to see a lot of that. I
Yeah.
think Oppenheimer's obvious. I think Barbie's a real Oscars sleeper. It's making so much money that at the end of the year, they're going to have to be like, this was the most successful movie of the year from a financial standpoint, and really creative. I mean, they're going to get costumes and some of that other stuff, but I think Margot Robbie is so good. I'll be disappointed if she doesn't get a Best Picture nomination for Best Actress.
Gotcha. Okay.
Buy or sell number 4. A&M has it. This is a tricky one, I think. Okay. A&M has at least 6 starters on this year's defense that could start on the best of the best true wrecking crew defenses.
Oh God, at least 6 starters.
Now you don't have to get like literal, it's like the spirit of these guys could play for these guys.
I'm going to say sell. I've been watching a lot of A&M defenses. I've seen a lot of guys. I'm going to give the old guys their love right now since I'm an old guy now myself. I will say sell. It might not quite be 6. I think it might get into that. You could argue a 3 to 5. I'm not going to say absolutely right now there's 6 of them.
By the way, Cody, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
Uh-oh. Pulled your man card.
Because I said Barbie. Because I'm riding the.
Because you did.
I'm riding that Barbie Express.
It's okay. Hey, you know what, Ketch? Sometimes people aren't going to agree with everything you say. Now, I'm saying that as an Aggie on this show, but what are you going to do? You just gotta embrace the discomfort.
I know, but come on, let me have my Barbie.
Yep.
Buy or sell number 5, last one of the day.
Yep.
The burger bracket needs to come back.
That's a buy. That's a buy. Absolutely. I thought of the burger bracket the other day and how we might do that. In fact, in this room with me right now is a Mike's Pub t-shirt, and I'll show it to you at some point if you want to see it. That was the winner of the initial burger bracket. So yes, absolute buy. I'll be glad to go have burgers with you wherever you want.
Yeah, I wonder, is the next thing barbecue though? Like, do you do the burger again because it's the burger bracket and there's history there? Or do we take on Austin wasn't the barbecue city
right
in 2008 that it is now?
If we're going to go barbecue, though, we're going to have to set some ground rules and parameters. Barbecue's a broad phrase, so we got to say, what do we mean by barbecue? Are we having a brisket contest? Are we having a wholesale everything? We're going to have to figure it out, but I would be glad to do either one, Ketch, or both. Either one or both. Just let me know so I can get a personal trainer.
All right, Trey, we're going to do this real quick, and then we got Billy coming up scheduled in like 20 minutes, or excuse me, 2 minutes. Like, it's supposed to happen pretty quick. Sark should get JT Sanders the damn ball, 750 yards this season minimum, even at the expense of the number 3 and number 4 wide receivers. I'm going to say buy, unless there's a quarterback injury, because I think he hits these numbers last year if we don't see Hudson Card come in for Quinn Ewers. So I think that had Quinn stays healthy, Sanders hits those numbers.
Yeah,
and
that's
And I think the same thing will be true this season.
I agree, Ketch, and yeah, I'm going to go buy there as well, not just because that's my man Trey, and he's remembering the times at Waxahachie when the great Monte Rager was a wonderful tight end that they should have thrown the ball to more, but he also knows that I love that position. Sanders is such a beast. I think it's an incredible mismatch. So yes, if it's at the expense of receivers 3 and 4, absolutely. If it had to be at the expense of receivers 1 or 2, that's a different discussion, but absolute buy. I think Sanders needs to be a monster weapon.
All right, we're just going to bring in Billy Liucci of TexAgs.com right now. I don't want him to have to wait. He does have to go be Billy Liucci at 2:00 when Jimbo has his press conference. So joining us right now.
Add some hair to this thing, man. Add some hair to this thing.
Let me get this.
Oh, and it's going to get superimposed.
Hang on.
At this point.
Wait a minute. Now we got just the face.
Billy, you've stretched the camera lens out. It's very Rocky Dennis-ish.
Oh my God. You didn't just do that, did you? Come on, man. And now we can't hear you.
The thing is, when Billy doesn't have the camera looking like crazy, all I've heard for the last few weeks from Anwar is how good Billy looks.
Man, I couldn't get the audio thing right at the beginning, and now Billy's having an issue. Like, we're just writing Aggie jokes all over the place. Come on, Billy. We got to step it up, brother. Let's go.
We're going to figure out the audio because, Billy, we can't hear you yet.
Uh-oh.
I think Billy just cursed.
Has Billy ever said damn on Orangebloods? Because that would be cool.
I just heard something. There you go.
Damn. Okay, it must just be it was too far. I'll just hold it like this.
There we go. So, Billy, you are officially – Chad and I are back together again after 11 years. And we wanted you to be the first guest today. And then Billy froze.
Yeah, he's stunned and he's frozen, stunned, and he's gone. It just
I took Billy Liucci's breath away.
That was so wrong.
How's that?
There you go.
And now he's back perfect.
So all I heard was Mask and Rocky Dennis and Anwar complimenting me. I mean, if you're gonna at least wear Cher. If we're gonna go Mask, at least can I get Cher over here?
No, you're gonna get the big dog, badass Sam Elliott with that hair.
That's the main reason we wanted you on, Billy. You're making us remember hair. Like we're not real good on the hair thing.
I'm getting a little of it thinning in the back. I don't know what to do about that. And
Billy,
as I say that, my Instagram feed is now going to be full of stuff on my algorithm.
Oh, no. You're toast.
Yep.
You're toast. Billy, what I was saying is Chad and I are back. This is our first show in 11 years.
Wow.
And there was nobody else that I wanted as a first guest on the show other than you. It just needed – it's been over a decade since the three of us have done something together.
That's crazy to think about. That really is. And of course, when you messaged me, I was like, hell yeah. I was looking forward to it. And it's been too long, and especially you, Hastings. I haven't seen you in forever. I go down to Austin. I feel like calling you, but I'm like, Chad, he's too busy. Too big time on radio down there.
Yeah. I was big time on radio until recently. Yeah.
Well,
you got fired.
Well, hey, no,
I find such glee in that.
Hey, Billy, I said it earlier today. The thing I love about this show is how unique it is going to be. We're calling it House Divided because, it's one of my favorite things on planet Earth. And the three of us right now, like nobody else would ever think to put the three of us on a show together. And that's why we knew it had to be you. Like you might be the only Aggie I could think of that might even sort of think of taking Ketch's call with an idea like this outside of me. Like you may be the only other one that I could think of. So that's why we had to talk to you, because we've always loved breaking it down with you and love, letting you make certain people mad and certain people happy. And it's fantastic.
It sounded fun. And I'll tell you what, I tell people this all the time because they go, oh, those Longhorns hate you. And I said, they really don't. And I don't hate them. You people are the worst, but the overwhelming majority of them, I have a lot of them with me. And when the ones I've run into in person, whether it be Austin on a trip this year I was on, and they say, man, I really enjoy the back and forth, and we have fun with it. We really do. And the show sounded fun.
Chad, can I ask a football question?
Yeah, of course.
Billy, how good do we think Connor's going to be this year at quarterback? I feel like it, from my perspective, I have so much respect for the talent on this A&M team collectively. It is legitimately one of the most talented teams in college football. If the quarterback position gets plus play over 12 games, this is a very dangerous football team.
Agreed. And I think I would take – I'm at the point with the O-line, just from talking to people within the program and watching individually what they are or should be and the depth and the experience. Obviously, the whole thing doesn't work, especially in this conference. It's the best thing that in Austin and not in Norman, I've said this multiple times, is how he and Flood are recruiting especially that offensive line. Because one thing I've learned here, and I've seen A&M field some really good ones. They went, the two years with Johnny and that crew, and then played in the NFL. It's not a coincidence. So if they get Connor's upside, guys, I think is SEC in country have kind of forgotten what a big deal of a recruit he was. He stunk at Auburn, and so did the whole offense. The line, there was no A chain. To me, maybe even more so than App State. Like, that was the low point. But without that game, like, his other two SEC starts were pretty damn. If you go look at the, kind of combine the numbers there, he has a chance to be. He's got to do it and beat out Max Johnson like in front of the whole team. I believe he's the future for him and Max, but I think Connor's upside than people around the SEC are saying. Can you remember he was up there with Ewers and Club? Asked people around the Houston area and what he did at Bridgeland, and then what he did when given the chance. Some of these quarterbacks, there's just something about them. I think of like a Colt McCoy when I say,
Hey, Billy, the audio in the video,
something about them.
They're just not matching up cleanly. Can we get you to try to log back out and log back in one more time, and hopefully we can get it fixed up?
Yeah,
Blake, if you can take him.
Now, I wasn't going to accuse anybody of like sabotage, Ketch. I just thought maybe this is not like a normal thing where y'all bring Billy Liucci on and then you just make it a bit the whole way. Is it? That's not what that was.
I felt bad because I wanted to hear what he had to say.
Well,
the thing is, people were asking me if I was falling asleep, but I was intently watching his face on screen and trying to see how close the words in his mouth. And
all right, let's see if he's there now. Is he there now?
Okay, are we matched up?
You're matched up. You're matched up now.
Third time's a charm.
Man, oh man.
You were good earlier, and then it just faded on us.
Yeah, somewhere in the Connor Wegman conversation, you kind of phased out there.
I'm just saying, I think, people have forgotten what a high-profile recruit he was, and there were reasons behind that. It's his dual threat ability, and he's just got that it factor. And I said, you guys have seen that, whether it's Colt McCoy, whether it's Johnny Manziel, there's these guys that you just early on go, man, he just kind of got it. He's kind of got that it. I don't know what it is. And I think he showed that last year. I mean, you go watch even the subtle play, like, yeah, throw it up to Moose Muhammad because he can make a play. Don't be scared. Or on 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 8 against LSU, hit Harold Perkins with a subtle move and outrun him to the sticks. And throw a touchdown pass after getting your head knocked off against Ole Miss a play later. Like, those little things, I think, are what ultimately separate him and make him a special dude.
Billy, I'll resist a defensive question and stay on the offensive side because I think a lot of people watching A&M are going to be focused on the Petrino effect this year. I think it's something that I'm interested to see if the thought is Jimbo's offense is clunky. Jimbo's offense is clunky. I've heard it. I've seen it on, comments from other fan bases. So for you, what would you tell a fan that you're already starting to sense or that you've seen? What's the Petrino effect going to be? It's going to make this offense more what?
I think I think what they're going to make it is more digestible for the players. Whether that's verbiage, whether that's – look, one thing no one talks about is Bobby Petrino has been a head coach for how long now? He's getting to just be an offensive coordinator and a play caller. And contrary to what everybody wants to believe, he's going to be a play caller. And he's getting to do that without having to do all the other stuff. And Jimbo Fisher's getting to do all the other stuff without being a play caller. So I think
What in the world just happened?
We got a pretty good hunk of that answer. You know, let me just say right now, if Michael Griffin is dead clear later, we got something going on. All right. If Michael Griffin is all clear and HD quality later, I'm going to be getting on the production staff. I'm just saying right now.
Sabotage. I know.
Sabotage. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying.
All right, I'm back.
Okay.
I got to figure out this app.
Yeah, we got to get.
I think the streamlined, more efficient would be the words. I think they're going to attack. And Ketch, you mentioned Wigman, and we haven't talked about those receivers and stuff. So I do think,
All right, Bill, we're going to
pace
cut
of
it
it
off.
all.
It's just too much of a technical difficulty. We're going to get you back on. We'll let you get through today. We know Jimbo's coming up at 2:00. Thank you.
Yeah, geez.
Thank you, Billy.
We'll figure out the technology and do this again. Yeah.
Billy, they're telling me it wasn't a joke. We'll try to get you on another time. How dare all of you in the production room for
would
laughing
never
right
have. Do you think that was an iPhone or an Android or a BlackBerry?
Oh, see, and now you're going to make fun of whatever communication skills. What?
No, I don't know.
Let me hold on. Let me fill in that blank. He's in College Station, Ketch. He's got a can with a string coming out of the end of it.
No, I was
Come
not.
on.
The BlackBerry thing was a joke.
The BlackBerry was, all right.
That was just ha. You gotta. If you can't laugh at ourselves when our first interview on the new show.
Oh, man.
Now, look, to be fair, I don't remember who our first guest was on March 17th, 2008.
I don't either. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. I don't either. It'll be interesting to have conversations with Billy and others that deal with A&M throughout the year, like we'll do with Texas. These two teams, how they develop through the year is fascinating to me. This is such a crossroads year, both ways. In terms of offensive play calling, what's your offense going to be? One team's got to get ready for the SEC. The other has not consistently shown they can be competitive in the SEC. So I'm interested, and obviously as a fan of A&M, what does the Petrino thing do? What's your gut tell you, Ketch? What is Petrino's effect on this offense? Do you think it'll look more modern and closer to, what Georgia was doing, let's say?
I don't know. I don't know that I believe in Petrino. I don't. I mean, 8 years ago, this would have been a supernova of a hire if you could get him in this role and have Jimbo Fisher as your head coach. On paper, it should work. They've got the talent.
Yeah.
It really comes down to how well Connor plays at the quarterback position. I think the same thing, quite honestly, of Texas A&M going into this season in terms of its roster and what the team is capable of, as I do of Texas. I think there's some tricky games on the schedule. I think A&M's got the talent to win double-digit games. I think they have the question marks that can see them win 8. And, you'd have to tell me, what does that mean? If this, let me put you like this. I said Texas was going 9-3 yesterday or Monday. What was it? Yeah. And we had people who were like, explain it to me, Ketch. How the hell do you get to 9-3? We had one guy jump into the super chat, and my man, if you're out there, we would love for you to hit us up with $300 today.
And they were asking you to explain it from the top side or the bottom side. Like they were saying, how do you climb to 9? Or they were saying, wait a minute, how are you getting down to 9?
They're saying, how are we getting down to 9?
I see. Okay.
Because if they win 9, he thinks this is the best chance that Sark is ever going to have, that it only gets harder from here. And if he can't do it now, his whole point was make the move, change your head coach. I wouldn't suggest that necessarily. But that was what that question was. I look at Texas A&M. If I ask you, how do A&M fans feel if A&M goes, let's start with 9-3?
My gut says 9-3. Considering what they saw last year, wouldn't it have to be a pretty good feeling?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd have to be a pretty damn good. 9's always my marker for, are you a good football team? Good to pretty good at times. I think that would be a big step from where they were. They need to start taking some little steps before they get to the big one. So I think 9-3 should to me make Aggie fans happy. I stopped pretending like I knew what made Aggie fans happy years ago. But from this one, I'll just tell you, like, that would make me happy to go from what they had to beat LSU to get to 5, if I'm not mistaken. So to go from there to 9, and really that means they would have established the quarterback, right? That means either Wegman grabs a hold of it, or if something happened and it was Johnson, whoever it is, that means the quarterback grabbed a hold of it and that offense showed up in some games. You go look at their schedule and say 3, that would mean, I don't know, lose to Bama, lose to LSU in Baton Rouge, and maybe what if they lost in Coral Gables, right? If those are the 3, that's not the biggest crime in the world, is it?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking
about that Rocky Dennis.
Dude, I can't believe on the first show you made my daughter on my way to do the show said, now don't say anything to get yourself canceled today, but apparently it's Uncle Ketch we needed to worry about. My God.
I'm making myself laugh.
I like Liucci's comment too. At least go with Cher. Like,
no, hey, I said it right.
What?
He got Sam Elliott, which to me, that's the best version of Sam Elliott ever.
By the way, I've never seen Mask all the way through. I've never seen that movie. Yeah, I've never seen that.
Sam Elliott plays Cher's boyfriend. I think his name is Gar in the movie.
Okay.
And if you can just imagine like a really young Sam Elliott as like a badass biker.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's a great idea.
He's a Harley riding like biker, and like dude, he just oozes biker badass coolness.
Dude, he's great in everything. They could have literally cast him as either Barbie or Ken. I'd still feel the same way I do about the movie.
I think young Sam Elliott missed his mark. I think if he were young all over again, I think he would have been a much bigger star. He was a good looking dude when he was young, but still had all of that Sam Elliott, I'm a badass like vibe to him.
He's great. He's great. Good stuff. So I see super chats coming in. These people these people are so nice. They must like you or something. My goodness.
Let me see what we got on the super chat. We haven't taken a break in almost an hour. Like it just organically hasn't gone that way. Maybe I should have, and we could have worked on Billy's audio.
Uh-huh. Right. Because if Michael Griffin had screwed up, what would you have done? Stop the presses. We're going to take a break. We're going to get a team together because Michael Griffin can't be heard. But Billy Liucci's messing up.
And what breaks my heart.
You're checking your phone. You're balancing checkbooks. You're letting Billy just hang out on a line. Good grief.
Someone just said, Hendrix, no spamming. No Rick Astley commented lyrics in the chat. Oh God, we're off the rails early on. All right, look, let's take a break.
Okay,
I got a badass little 2-minute Longhorn video for you guys out there. There's over 500 watching right now, which is cool. Like for my first day, I would have taken, I'd have bit your hand off for over 500, like consistently in the show. We've got a recruiting video that I want you guys to take a look at. These are kind of, when we go to break, this is what you will see. Although there are other things that we can do. If you want to get your sponsorships in, you want to get advertisements, we can give you a sponsorship on the videos, all kinds of things that we can do. But for now, Blake, hit them with the good stuff. This Orangebloods recruiting flashback focuses on one of the best recruiting success stories in the history of the Texas program. ultimately a prospect that turned into an All-American and a 5-time NFL All-Pro. Earl Thomas was a mid-4-star prospect by rivals when he signed with the Longhorns in 2007, finishing as the nation's number 106th overall prospect, the 19th best prospect in Texas, and the number 12 athlete in the country, according to Rivals.com. While Thomas was obviously very well thought of, he actually ranked behind 3 other defensive backs in his own recruiting class with the Longhorns: Curtis Brown, Ben Wells, and Christian Scott, all ranked ahead of Thomas in the Rivals rankings. On the day that Thomas committed to the Longhorns, he was joined by 5 others: Keenan Robinson, Kyle Hicks, Michael Huey, Ben Wells, and Andre McGaskey. Of that group, Robinson played in the NFL, while he, Hicks, and Huey were all multi-year starters on teams that challenged for national championships. Meanwhile, Thomas was Thomas. That was some kind of weekend for Mack Brown in recruiting. When Thomas committed, he told Jason Sucamel of Orangebloods, quote, "I called Mack Brown today. I let them talk to my dad for a while. My dad wanted to talk to them before I committed. Then I went ahead and made my commitment." My favorite memory of Thomas's recruitment occurred in College Station for the 2006 state 7-on-7 tournament before Thomas's senior season. After watching him play in a group game on the first day of the event, an NFL coach that I knew walked up to me and told me that Thomas was the best player in the entire class. We didn't listen to him when we did the rankings, but we should have. Thomas was a member of the 2007 recruiting class that finished 5th in the nation in the Rivals.com rankings. There we go. Look at us. Both of us caught looking at our phones on the way back in. You got to be ready for the camera.
I was looking at the person saying that they thought that the voice you used to record those is the voice you would use back in the day when you were trying to pick up a woman on a phone.
Look,
when you were leaving a voicemail.
Hendrix, he can verify this if he's watching the show right now, my 9-year-old. He's gotten into this thing where he likes to sleep on the couch. He's got an awesome bunk bed, which his sister sleeps in his bunk bed, and he will go sleep on the couch. But the couch is like on the other side of my office doors right here. So when I recorded those, I didn't want to wake him up.
Okay.
So there was a controlled, I don't want to wake the kid up by going full vocals. Just be me being a good dad.
Okay. There you go. I like that.
Not me trying to be Teddy Pendergrass. I'm like, hey, ladies.
What's
My old answering machine voice. Did you ever do that when you recorded your phone answering machine? It was like, yo, you've reached Jeff Ketchum. I'm not around right now. But if you leave those digits in a message, you know I'll call you back. Peace.
Ketch, there wasn't enough women that knew my number for me to go to that length. That just wasn't even necessary. So I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, let's knock some super chat questions out of the way.
Okay.
We'll get completely caught up. I don't even know what's happening in the chat right now. We have gone a little bit off the rails. I do want to let everybody know, like this video, subscribe to the channel, do all those things. I think we're like up 300 subscribers on the day.
Nice.
We still have a big announcement in an hour and 15 minutes here on the channel.
Oh my goodness.
If you're just joining us at 3:00, our cleanup hitter comes in.
Oh man. If y'all have no idea how good it's going to be and how crazy people are going to go when Billy Liucci on a cell phone is 3 to 6, y'all have no clue how awesome this is going to be.
By the way, Billy may return. Billy is disappointed that the phone thing happened, and I think he wants to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah,
and do it where the technology works and we get a full Billy Liucci experience.
Well, here's what I want to know too. As long as here's my equal opportunity rip. If I'm going to rip into you guys and accuse you of maybe sabotage, I need my man Billy to answer me a question too. Hey man, every time I see you, you're in that badass studio over there, right across from the stadium. Yet you just came to us from look like
because he's got the press conference.
Yeah. No. The press conference. I thought you said it's coming up at 2.
Yeah, I'm assuming he got there early.
Okay,
But
so right, so he's
aren't there studios like right across the street?
exactly. So he's like ducked into a hallway or whatever. It looks like he was at somebody's house in Bryan and grabbed a couple of helmets to put behind him. So I'm just saying, get in that fancy studio and talk to us, and it'll look cool. Last time I saw him talk to you, he looked a lot cooler than that.
What it made me think was that Orangebloods isn't cool enough to get the good studio. Yes, he joins us day one, right? Doesn't want to be insulting, but he didn't bring out the fine china.
Yeah, I think you should have not mentioned my name. I think that probably didn't help.
we got the paper plate.
Yeah, we did. We did. He goes, "Oh, it's just Chad. I can show up however I want."
He was breaking out the fine china, and then he saw that it was you, and then it was like paper plates.
Yep, paper plates and Long John Silvers. Let's go do it.
Oh, that sounds good. I haven't eaten lunch yet, so like some Long Johns does not sound terrible. Although it feels like the only place you can find Long John Silvers in 2023 is near a gas station.
There's a couple freestanding ones still out
good
there.
To know that you can still get those crumbs, non-gas station variety.
LJS, love it.
Cotton says being self-employed, this new format is going to get me fired. No, it won't.
We don't want that.
It's going to help you get through the days faster.
That's right.
And your work is going to get done streamlined. That's what's really going to happen.
What is it? Don't work harder, work smarter.
Yes.
Work smarter.
Hallelujah. Amen, brother. Chad Gibson says the recruiting flashbacks are great. Thank you. Those are mostly my ideas.
Yeah.
All me, baby, except for Blake doing literally all of the putting it together. Will you have any that focus on the players Texas missed on head-to-head battles with other schools? Yes, Chad. Not only that, we might sneak a few A&M ones in there.
I was just about to ask that question, Ketch. Can I get some Quentin Coriat high school footage?
That crossed my mind, Chad.
I would hope it did.
And I don't know if I thought also Bucky Richardson. Like there's a part of me that would really like to see some Bucky Richardson. I thought of Leland McElroy. Like, I don't know how we're going to make all this happen.
What were the poor little bastards doing that had to deal with Bucky Richardson as a high school football player? Seriously. Can you imagine kids just bouncing off of him left and right?
Well, I know what Quentin Coriat did to college players. I'm really concerned what he did to 5'10", 165-pound wide receivers who had the wrong play called by their coach.
We're going to have to do that retail at some point, Catch. Remember, I have a great inside story about the Quentin Coriat hit. One of my favorite stories ever. We got to do that.
Also, FYI, I'll also be doing current recruits. So very quickly,
nice. You'll see
Colin Simmons. You'll see Micah Hudson. You'll see Kobe Black. We will do these with the best recruits. We actually we had this footage available in the Rivals YouTube platform. So it's just real easy for us to use that as opposed to using Huddle right away. But yeah, no, believe me, we're limited in the number of videos that we can play each day because they have to be loaded into the studio. But we will get some diversity and mix them up in the coming days, weeks. Don't you worry about that. We're just getting started on what we think we might be able to do with those videos. Another super chat. MJ Allen 77. What Ketch was trying to say earlier is if you can't laugh at an Aggie, who can you laugh at? You're welcome for that clarification, Ketch.
Rude. Just rude. No need. No need. How dare you? But that's okay. It's okay. We can take it. We'll overcome. I will overcome audio issues from earlier. Billy Liucci will overcome the cell phone issue that he's having because apparently he's using a phone that they used in The Wire season 2.
It was one of the disposable phones.
He got his phone from Avon Barksdale. Oh, my God. As a guy who had a flip phone way past the time, I can make that joke.
Oh, that is a good one.
Good.
That's good right there. That's good.
That's good material. In fact, Ketch, if you want, you're going to make one of them Aggie videos. I'll throw the voice on there. I won't even have to do the lady video. You're doing all your slick lady voice videos for Texas, and I'll just come on. Here's Bucky Richardson. He was a young man who could outrun them all. We'll just do that.
Is that your Aggie voice?
I don't know. It's just kind of a more country voice.
It was very tough sounding.
I don't know if I have an Aggie voice, but we could just do like a good country voice.
I was like, you're giving Aggie voice a little too much credit.
Again, how dare you? That is exactly what it needs is good toughness. What are you talking
That felt
about?
like a little Fritz von Erich kind of badass.
Fritz von Erich at an Aggie tailgate is what that was.
Oh, God. I've got so many things running through my brain. Hello, Joel. 2725.
Joel. Let's see if Chad can figure out the reason for this amount. Getting the band back together has made my day. You have at least one regular listener. We appreciate that. And yes, Joel, even though I was slow today, even though I was slow to get it started, I can figure out why you sent $27.25. Thank you. So we've answered the question. People can on a super chat go specific amounts. And I know Longhorn fans love the 27.25. I was there that night. I totally get why you would hang on to that one. So
Where were
thank
you in the stadium that night?
for 27.25. I was on, so I would have been West Side lower section. And I was towards the end where Tucker hit the kick. So as they drove, they were driving kind of towards the end. We were probably at the 25-ish yard line. My niece and I went to the game. She was 11. And I don't often try to lie to children, but as Tucker was getting ready to line the kick up, I was trying to make her think something could go wrong. I was trying to make her think, there could be a bad snap. We could block it. This, that. All the while, I had watched Texas the whole season in 2011, and I knew that Justin Tucker was about to unleash a cannon shot. And so I tried to lie to her, and then it went through, and we all know the rest. But yeah, so I was down on that end of the stadium.
I've never asked you this question.
Okay.
I'm going to rub it in a little bit, okay?
I'm shocked.
On day one.
I'm shocked.
When Case McCoy takes off running, and he does the Case McCoy dash, the level of, just I don't want to put words into your mouth, but that had to have been the moment when you knew, oh God, this is about what's about to happen.
Absolutely. That would have been after the Sammy Davis penalty, which was one of those moments where you realize, oh dear God, there are going to be some goodbye calls from the Big 12. And then
you're welcome for that, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah. And then Case takes off. And so 2 reactions, Ketch. Live, it was just the sinking feeling of what was about to happen. And then once I got to see the replay, I saw the thing I now always think of when I see that play. Go back and watch Dominic Espinosa. He grabs a hold of an Aggie, turns him, and tries to throw him into the Aggie band. Not that I've noticed it, but I saw it later. I didn't see it live, though. I didn't see him do that live. I watched the replay, and I went, oh, yeah, they're not calling that one. Those Big 12 officials weren't calling that one that night. But it brings us to this season, Ketch. I watched Nebraska get screwed by it in 2010. I watched some weird calls for the Aggies in 2011. To all Texas and Oklahoma fans this year, you need your team to be up by a little bit in all these games. Don't let yourself get caught into 1-score games, because the officials, just human nature is going to take over. Plus you're Texas and Oklahoma. We got to watch for that in 2023.
I don't even want to say what I find funny. It's not right.
Is somebody being rude? Somebody being rude on the chat? Did I miss it?
Just don't do it. Don't go down the rabbit hole. This should not be mentioned out loud. But yeah, I'm giggle bunnying right now.
That'll happen. Okay,
that's let me be professional. God, that was just wrong. It's wrong. Texas boy, I thought Rogue Shop had something to do with his calm, smooth voice. Hey, now, there you go. Chad, we got to get you some Rogue Shop. The guys over at Rogue Shop will be sponsoring some segments on the show.
Now, what is Rogue Shop? I thought that was just some word they'd made up. What is that?
It's Texas's home for legal CBD, THC, and so much more. And the thing is, when you go to the website, you just start surfing. You're like, man, they can put weed into anything. 100% legal. Just FYI, I don't know why Blake felt like I needed to say that.
Can they put weed? Can they put weed in my cereal?
Yes.
Really?
Okay. They got the salves that like you put on your, like for a while I had a shoulder issue and I'd put that salve on my shoulder before I'd go to sleep and it wouldn't hurt. I just got tons of great products. It's an awesome site to serve. Texas Boy, thank you for the shout out. Paxton is mentioning the birthday cake. I do love the birthday cake, which is my little thing that you take hits off of and it makes you feel good.
Wow. Okay.
And it comes in a birthday cake flavor. I love cake and birthday cake, especially the store-bought HEB birthday cakes, the flat cakes. Oh, It's my favorite.
Can the, Rough Shop, Rogue Shop? Oh, there they are popular.
There it is.
Rogue Shop. Can Rogue Shop get, can they get something into brisket? Can we do that?
The thing, that's what I'm telling you. Go to the website. You use your Orangebloods discount, 30% off.
Wait. I have an Orangebloods discount?
And the password is Orangebloods.
Oh, the password is Orangebloods. This is not my personal thing. This is everybody gets this.
It can be. Oh, it's 10%. Excuse me.
10%.
Don't want to get everybody too high. Ketch said 30. Why does it say $3,430 for my order?
420%.
It's a good. That's a good time, by the way.
Yeah.
No, my voice. It's all me. It's all
That's
me.
all you. That is all McCallum High School kids.
It is AISD education right
there.
there.
That is AISD smooth, is what that is.
Someone asked me yesterday on Orangebloods. We were having a. It is my contention. What happened?
No, that super chat is just so silly.
I got you.
It's so silly.
God, now you distracted me and I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
Has to be the Rogue Shop.
That's it. That's it.
Like the Skeletor meme, if you've ever seen that,
Oh, yes, right.
Yep. Shaking He-Man. Buck Wild says, we'll get serious again, and then I'll try to remember what the hell I was going to say.
All right.
Buck Wild says, of guys on the roster right now, who has more draft picks between the Longhorns and the Justin Tucker's children?
Wow. So people have actually, I've never heard the Aggies referred to as Justin Tucker's children. Wow. As of right now, who has more draft picks between the Longhorns and the Aggies? Right now, I'd say the Aggies. Total draft picks right now on the roster, based on what we've seen, and I'd say A&M. Close, but I'd probably lean Aggies just a little bit.
Chad, have you seen my super blue chip numbers? The most recent ones.
I keep them by the bed, but I don't have them with me right now.
Blake, this is coming out of left field.
Oh, no.
But he probably...
Yeah.
He knows.
He's going to find.
It doesn't have to be right this second because I realize I haven't asked you for it. But if you can find that super blue chip thing, I want to come back and do this question. But I do think Onwar. I think Chad's probably right.
People confuse us all the time. We're both handsome men with incredibly cool short hair.
And lady killers.
Lady killers. And fashion icons.
By the way, we haven't even fully got into the helmets at some point.
So somebody earlier just chatted, that's a lot of helmets. And by the way, you know how many I purchased for this first show? None. Not one. How many did I rearrange? Only a couple.
That's just what his house looks like.
Sadly, that's what the room my wife let me throw stuff in 2 years ago looks like.
He gets 300 square feet. And
that's about it. Yep, that's it. That's it. I love mini helmets more than just about anything when it comes to memorabilia. So as you see, I have a few.
By the way, Matt was just 5-7, a 5.7. I thought he was just being nice. And
5.7 for the Aggies record last year. Hey, I went to College Station, did some tailgating, and helped them get to 5-7. I had to watch it from across the street, but them beating LSU was like I mean, you talking about making my holidays. I mean, I was trying to figure out how to eat 4 and 8, and at least I only had to eat 5 and 7. But yeah, thank you for that one.
All right, here's the deal. We're 2 hours in. We've got one more to go, which means we're a little over 60 minutes away from the debut. We got 50 more minutes. We're going to leave a little early today.
We got to get ready for what's coming.
So that we can get our popcorn ready.
That's right.
For 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
But in about 20 minutes, Texas all-time great Michael Griffin, one of the best players to ever come out of the city of Austin from a football standpoint, any sport standpoint. And a guy, once upon a time, Chad, when Michael Griffin was in high school, I told Michael Griffin how big of a deal he was going to be. Like, just so you know, you're a top 10 prospect in the state.
Right.
You're going to have all this stuff's going to happen. And I think he thought I was full of shit. Like, really. Like, the first time he met me, we're at like the Bowie High School gym. I'm curious if Mike remembers the story. Because I'm telling him your life's about to change. And I think he's looking at me like, who are you? Fat man with hair. Because back then, I didn't have a full head of hair, but I had hair.
By the way, Ketch, for a good long time now, you're going to be able to do what you just did and activate my radio Tourette's. Because when you said shit, I was, dump, we're gonna, and then it didn't have. So I'm gonna have to get used to that.
No dump button required.
I know.
You don't want YouTube to get mad at you,
right?
But the thing is, I watch these English soccer videos.
You showed me some of that. There's a lot of language and
they're
rudeness.
Dropping the C word.
Yeah, there's a lot
on the regular.
Right. I don't think we're going to be saying that word.
So I feel like we have a little bit of grace to drop in an occasional curse word.
Yeah, exactly.
Blake tells us in the chat it's not a curse word over there, but it airs over here. Like, I don't know that works. That whole guys, don't be offended by it. It's normal over there.
We'll take your word for it.
Because I said that word, like, because I'm listening to too many soccer podcasts, and it came out once in front of my wife, and she judged me. Cody, we're talking about the C word.
Get on him, Cody. Just, you can't let him wade too far in. You can't let him start wading in. Next thing, we're going to find out who the starting fullbacks are for the Liverpool team.
How do you know that that's a thing?
Because I was one when I was 5, and then I grew
up.
I was picking speargrass and clovers while the team was good on the other end. And then I went on to other stuff. Then I started watching football.
Did you chew on the speargrass?
No. You had to do the little bit of get a little bit of the saliva on it. You had to lick, and then that may help it throw a little better, and it helped it stick a little better. But you didn't eat it. No, you threw it.
Michael Griffin's gonna join us in 20. I'm gonna ask him if he remembers the first time we met. And look, I asked Drew Brees that question in an interview back in the day, like 5 years ago, and Drew was like, "No."
Yeah,
I talked to Drew every week for 2 years.
It is a bit of an ego train question to ask. You got to admit that. That's kind of a weird, humble brag ego question to ask. So first off, do you remember when we met?
When you met me?
Do you remember when I came into your life?
Well, the reason why I even bring that story up is because later that summer, we're in College Station for the state 7-on-7 tournament. And Michael is with some of his teammates, and he like yells over to me, like, "Hey, Jeff," or "Hey, Ketch," or like whatever he would have said. And he was like, "You were right." And I was like, "Yeah, you did turn out, And then from there, he goes on to be, an All-American, one of the best UT DBs ever, a first-round draft pick, an NFL player.
One of the greatest Austin-produced football stories ever.
Well, and I feel like I was the first person to ever tell him, "You're that good."
Mm-hmm.
Now, he may not remember any of this, at which point I'll be a jackass maybe in 20 minutes. But I feel like, because that's baked into the show anyway.
Well, that could be good because you being a jackass would just go along with it because I felt like one earlier, and I'm sure Billy Liucci did. So why don't you join us?
Michael, we apologize in advance. Should technology, make you look like an idiot? Because I threw out the name Rocky Dennis earlier because I don't know what. Admitted his face like stretched.
He did look like a funhouse mirror for a second.
That's all I meant.
That's all you meant. You just went the other way and said something totally different. But so help me, if Michael Griffin comes on in beautiful HD quality with an incredible intro and fireworks, I'm going to be upset.
If he looks like Rocky Dennis, I'll say it. Like
please don't.
I'm like baby's father. I say what I mean. Look, here's what we're going to do. I need to send Michael Griffin a text.
Okay.
To let him know, like, hey, the link for the studio is in your direct messages on Twitter.
Yeah.
I got these videos.
I know. And are we still talking about the stat today? You still want to talk about the stat?
When we come back, that's exactly what we'll do.
Okay.
Before Michael Griffin. So that's coming around in like 2 minutes. Until then, Blake, do that thing. This Orangebloods recruiting flashback focuses on one of the biggest UT football stars of the last decade. Bijan Robinson was a 5-star prospect by rivals when he signed with the Longhorns, finishing as the nation's number 18 overall prospect, the second best prospect in the state of Arizona, and the number 1 running back in the country, according to Rivals.com. Upon retrospect, it's kind of amazing that former running backs coach Stan Drayton was able to land Robinson when you consider that Ohio State was perceived as a massive leader for much of his recruitment. In fact, on the day he committed, Rivals.com recruiting analyst Adam Gorney told Orangebloods, quote, even after the Atlanta 5-star challenge, it almost felt like Ohio State was the foregone winner, Gorney said that day. But as it got closer, I think the realization that he would basically be going across the country to play football kind of set in. He really, really liked Texas and USC a lot, had connections to both schools, liked the staffs, and how they would use him, and wound up finding a school closer to home that he was very happy with. It wasn't until Robinson visited Texas on an unofficial visit for the spring game in April that Texas began to make it surge. By the time June rolled around, a couple of months later, the Longhorns had emerged as a team to beat in his recruitment. Robinson was a part of a 2020 recruiting class that finished 14th in the nation that year in the Rivals.com rankings, and what turned out to be the final full recruiting class for Tom Herman. A few years later, and there's not a ton of meat on the bone with respects to the elite prospects from that year outside of Robinson. Jake Majors and Jaron Thompson remain as a few of the higher ranked players in that class, but it's actually 2 of the lower ranked prospects in the class, Jahdae Barron and Jalen Ford, that have made the biggest impact as the class begins to wrap up its contribution to the Texas football program.
Longhorn fans, raise your hand if you are a Falcons fan as of right now. Come on. Let us know. Have you already bought your Bijan number 7 Falcons jersey? Ketch, how many do you think there are out there? A few of them?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about the choice to go 7 there and have him kind of reclaim the number that Vic wore?
I hadn't even realized that was Michael Vick's number until just now.
Yeah.
I like the single digits. I think it looks good on him. I'm down with it, and I think he's going to be a spectacular pro.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch, and easily the craziest division in the NFL. NFC South. If you absolutely know who's going to win that today, please let me know because I have no clue.
By the way, I thought we had a new super chat, and it really was just the old super chat where the guy told the Aggie joke. And I almost put that up again. And then I decided, you know what? That's just not nice.
Let's not do that. You were going to put that 5.7 one up again? Is that
no, it was the one that was like how many Aggies to fill in a light bulb or whatever that joke was.
Okay. All right. I see.
If I can find it, I'll put it back up. But now, I have no idea where I was. It just popped up. It was this one.
It was
not that one.
The number of years? Yeah, 999.
I was like, we got a $10 super chat. Yeah. And then I just realized, we did that one already.
Yeah,
And
it
then I
has
was like,
been.
why is my chat all the way up there? Now I'm good. I'm back.
It has been a while, obviously, since the Aggies won a national championship in football, and there's jokes about it's been a while since a lot of things happened. But one thing I thought might be appropriate to start this experience with Ketch and myself getting back together. We did radio back in the day, and we're doing this now, and I'm trying to figure out, the next career now, and doing all this cool stuff. And thanks to you, the Orangebloods community, for being great to me all through these years, and I know you're going to be great to me now. But Ketch, I remember talking to you about this years and years ago. Can't remember when I first looked the stat up, but for Longhorn and Aggie fans right now, I think there is a certain amount of, what you might want to watch out when you start to rip the other group of fans, because neither football team right now is doing deep down what their fans want them to do. So the stat I looked up years ago, and I remember the first time I said it to Ketch, I said, do you realize Texas and Texas A&M have never had back-to-back 9-win seasons simultaneously? And he just kind of stared at me.
One of the all-time great stats.
And I said, it's true. I said, now there's only 1 year. Think about this. Only 1 year where they've both won 10. And that's 1975, the year I turned 1. But I double-checked the stat today, and I also did some comparisons. So, Ketch, my argument for the house divided moving forward, for Texas going to the SEC, is that in a true badass national rivalry, you need both of the teams to be relevant at the same time. I remember one of your takes on this rivalry going away was, you know what, Chad? I might not miss it that much because it's always one or the other. It's always one's up and one's down. Well, this stat really speaks to it. So again, Texas and Texas A&M have never had back-to-back 9-win seasons at the same time. The last time Texas went back-to-back 9 wins or more, Ketch, you want to throw out a guess on this? Last 2-year period where Texas went 9 wins or more.
I mean, 2009?
Correct. 08 and 09. When's the last time the Aggies went back-to-back 9 wins or more?
94?
More recent than that.
95.
More recent than that.
It can't be more recent than that. A&M hasn't had any football success.
It only comes down to one guy. It's Johnny Manziel, 2012 and 2013.
God, does that tell you how great he was?
That does tell you how great he was. And by the way, just to point out the truth, because that's what I love doing, he had to pull off that comeback against Duke in the bowl game to get there. But that's still back-to-back. Again, with this stat, I give you the bowl game. You can get the 9 in a bowl game. So the Aggies did that in 12 and 13. But Ketch, here's the comparison that should worry all of us in the house divided. I looked up 1, 2, 3, about 7 other in-state rivals just to see the comparison. And here they are in no particular order. Clemson and South Carolina are an in-state rival. They have done it twice, most recently in 12 and 13. Bama and Auburn, Iron Bowl. This one surprised me a little bit. Bama and Auburn have only done it 3 times, ever. History of both schools. Last time, 93-94.
Wow.
Think about what that says. That means when Cam Newton was doing his thing, obviously Bama wasn't. And since Bama's gotten on this run, go look at Auburn's record. How about in terms of around other states? Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, Bedlam, it's about to go away. They've done this 4 times. Most recently, 16 and 17, they both had 9 wins or more. The other thing embarrassing here, Ketch, for Texas and Texas A&M, a lot of these are not just 9 wins. A lot of times it's 10. A lot of times it's like a 10 and an 11. It's a 12 and a 10. It's a little embarrassing there too. The biggest one,
Michigan State and Ohio State.
I didn't look up Michigan, Ohio State or Michigan, Michigan State. I didn't do any Big Tens. The other one I looked up was Florida, Florida State, and it is by far the biggest one I found. They've done that 11 times.
Yeah, because Florida State was in the top 5 for like 100 years in a row.
And there's a string of years where, I mean, it's a good 8-10 years in a row where they were both double digits.
Played each other in the national championship game in the 90s.
Yep. The last time they went back-to-back, going 9 wins or more, was 15 and 16. And then just for fun, I looked up Texas and Baylor. Never. Texas and Texas Tech. Twice. It's happened. Last time 08, 09, back to that.
Would have
last
guessed
time,
that.
Last time Texas did it. And how about this? Texas and TCU. It's actually happened 3 times that they've done it. And the last time was Texas 08 and 09 that they both had back-to-back 9 wins. So when I go to a 9-win discussion, it's a big deal for me because I'm an Aggie fan, and I have for years now, for 25 years on the radio, and thanks to this Orangebloods idea, I hope longer than that, I've been covering Texas as a job. And to me, 9 wins is a big deal. And when those droughts happen, it's very noticeable. So let's just see if when Texas arrives in the SEC and starts playing A&M, could they both possibly be good at the same time? But that's the stat Ketch and I have always talked about that is very bizarre. Never back. And so right now we're haven't even started, right? A&M won 5, Texas won 8. So we're slated.
And we thought last year.
Yes, I predicted it. I predicted both would get there last year. In fact, I think I might have been silly enough. Did I go with 10? I don't know if I went 10, but I know I went 9. I thought we're going to get it started. So Sark and Jimbo, slate's clean, fellas. Slate's clean. Let's get it started,
hey, fellas,
this year.
Let's win some games.
Let's go. Come on. Let's get it done.
Because I'll say this, like we talk about how successful the station might be, how good the shows might do in a world where Texas is winning. But in a world where they're both really good, if it could ever happen, you and I are going to have a lot of fun on this show.
Dude, we haven't lived through, we haven't lived through the exact thing. Again, we're talking about this stat here, but it could be phenomenal. Imagine if these two, maybe not Florida State in the 90s and 2000s, but just a little ingredient of that, just a little bit of that. In my lifetime, Ketch, one of the main reasons I love this game so much, about the time I turned 10 is when A&M turned it and got that run going. But we all remember Texas wasn't playing great football through a hunk of the 80s. But in my life, it's 1918 A&M. That's the win, the win total. So in my life, it's right there. And that's why I've loved it so much. But I've yet to really see what we need to see, which is let's have one of those badass A&M teams play one of those badass Texas teams. I've seen them both. They just never find the same field, it feels like. Like we go into the game knowing who we know should win the game. And then if you don't, 06 and 07. I think anybody would tell you that knew those two teams into the game, you thought, Texas should win those games. So then it had to be either a crazy upset by a team that wasn't as good or a team that just does what they're supposed to do. But that's not how you build a national brand and a national rivalry, because you mentioned it, Ketch. When the Gators and Seminoles were getting after it, we all knew that it meant everything. When those two got together, I'm getting chills even saying it. When those two got together, it was all the marbles, baby. And that's what we need this thing to be. That's what the house divided needs to be.
While we wait for Michael Griffin, hopefully to join us in the next couple of minutes, former Longhorn, All-American, first-round draft pick, longtime NFL player, and cupcake
entrepreneur.
I don't even know.
Legend.
Does
he consider himself a cupcake legend yet? Is he that far? How long do you have to make cupcakes before you're a legend?
How many cupcakes a day do you eat when you're suddenly known for cupcakes?
Oh man, can you imagine? Wow.
I'm probably going to ask a cupcake question because why wouldn't we?
I would think, it's his thing now. You want to show that you care about the current project, right? If you bring the musician on, right? If you bring Steven Tyler on, if we got Steven Tyler on and you asked him nothing but questions about toys in the attic, that's a little insulting. You want to ask about the current project, right? If they have an album coming out.
Because deep down, I want some cupcakes.
Well, that too.
Got through the BS.
I told you I've never had those cupcakes.
I would like to have cupcakes delivered to us, and I want to know what they taste like. Yeah. Joining us right now, I hope Blake's letting us know that the connection's not great. We will do our best. It's day one of our show here on the channel. Michael Griffin, Longhorn legend, former NFL player, first-round draft pick, star on the Longhorn Network. There's a lot of adjectives and descriptions for Michael Griffin joining us here on the show. Michael, can you hear us okay?
I hear you perfectly fine. Can you hear me?
You sound great. I'm going to ignore the fact that we're just having a few audio issues. If we can hear you good,
No, the
that's the
video
first
issues
step.
are good. Video's good. I mean,
We're
excuse me,
good? Okay.
audio's good. Yeah, audio good.
So, Michael, we're going to ask some cupcake questions. We're going to ask some UT. I'm going to ask you a Derek Williams question in a second, but we're going to see if your memory is as good as mine. I told a story earlier in this hour about the first time I ever met you at the Bowie Bulldogs.
When you had the sunblock on the nose?
No,
Okay.
this was in the gym. And the first time I ever met you, you and Marcus were playing hoops. And I think I just pulled you aside to do like maybe one of your first interviews. And I was like, hey, just so you know, recruiting is about to turn crazy for you. And you're going to be able to like go anywhere you want to go in the country. And I always felt like you thought I was full of crap the first time I told you that, hey, get ready. This particular Bowie Bulldog's about to be like a big deal in recruiting. Does your memory go that far back?
Man, it doesn't, because it's crazy. The people that used to keep me very grounded was my mother and my father. And I promise you, it was like when the whole situation, the whole recruiting thing went down, it was kind of like a blur, like a ah and a ooh. I mean, I was playing, I was having fun, but like I never saw that there was nobody in my family that played, college ball. And so for me, it was just like I'm just playing to have fun. It was never like you're gonna take it anywhere from high school. My biggest, ambition was to just go to college, and I didn't know there was a choice that you could choose whether or not to go to college. My mom and dad both being in the military, it was never like you have an option. So for me, when it all happened, it was like, okay. I mean, I remember every time I got an offer, I think Texas State, which was Southwood, Texas at the time, they offered, I was going to commit just because, all right, cool, I get to go to school. And then Baylor offered, and at the time, Baylor wasn't the program that they are today. And they offered, I was like, okay, cool, I get to play in the Big 12. And then they just kept coming in and coming in and coming in. I was just like, okay, I might actually be okay. And then it just continued just to get better and better as that summer progressed. But again, did I think I was going to be and got to where I got to? Absolutely not. It was all a blur to me, to be honest with you.
Michael, let's take it like a step at a time. Then now that once you get to Texas and you realize, okay, now I'm playing at Texas, do you remember a moment where it went from, because you ended up on not just a good team, not just a great team, but an all-time kind of team. Do you remember a practice, a meeting, something that made you realize, wait a second, I'm not just playing college football here. We could win it all. We could win the Natty.
It was one of those things. Like my first year there, I mean, I remember we lost to Arkansas, and we got blown out by Oklahoma, and it was a tough game versus A&M, but we managed to pull it out. So, not that year, but the very next year, my sophomore year, it was we lost to Oklahoma. We lost 12-0, but we never allowed a touchdown in that game. And at that moment, the following year, when we played Ohio State, and it was the toughest game that I think we played at that moment, um, I realized, you know what, we can really win this, because that might have been the people talk about how talented USC was, but that Ohio State team with Ted Ginn, Troy Smith, um, you had a lot of talent. AJ Hawk was out. I mean, there was a lot of talent out there on that football field. And to see that we went into the horseshoe and we competed and we won that game, players stepped up. Lima Swede made a heck of a catch. Vince Young managed to drive the ball, make a great throw. But Ramon Taylor did the craziest thing ever, catch the ball in the back of the end zone and then run to the back. I mean, you just saw how much talent we really had on that football team. And I mean, even Jamal Charles was a freshman. I remember, I think Vince threw an interception and he made a big hit on one of the linebackers. I remember they had the big three. I don't know if it was Bobby Carpenter or which one it was, but I mean, Jamal made a great tackle um, to save a touchdown. But I mean, you could just see we had a lot of talent that year.
The play for you in college that when I just say your college career, is there a moment, a play, a snapshot? Because you're talking about that Ohio State game, and one of the things about it that really stands the test of time is there were about 10 moments in that game that are worthy of a chapter in a book, right? I mean, We could talk about the Cedric Griffin hit on the tight end probably for 10 minutes.
Yes.
So I wonder what play for you and for you specifically, what play jumps out to you?
Well, if you remember correctly, you remember we played against Texas A&M that same season, and it came down to the wire. And I wasn't supposed to, but I pretty much checked. Got to go make a play. And I went in and I blocked the punt, and Cedric Griffin ended up catching it and scoring a touchdown. We ended up winning that football game. But if you really want to say like a play that like let me know that I made it and I was ready for that next moment, I think it was that play. Going into that game, I was coming off an MCL injury. I took the knee brace. I was supposed to be wearing a knee brace, but if people go back, we played against Baylor, and I didn't start that game because I had an injury versus Oklahoma State that I was pretty much hobbling around. And at that time, people don't understand like injuries. People sit out today, but I remember we had a coach that if you were hurt, it was almost like it was a punishment to be hurt. So either you're going to be up there in the sand pits and riding the bike and doing all this crazy stuff, or you're going to be practicing. So I just slapped the knee brace on and was just out there looking like a bionic man, trying to play defensive back. But the Baylor game, I got an interception, but I wasn't even supposed to be out there. Coach Keener got mad at me because he was supposed to be saving me for the A&M game. But that A&M game, took the knee brace off. I think I had 23 tackles. Michael up ended up getting the MVP of the Big 12 that week, ended up winning the Thorpe Award. But that block punt, I think, was probably one of the biggest plays, I think, because, our season could have went anywhere from that standpoint if I didn't block that punt.
Talking with Michael Griffin. Michael, we would consider you certainly a football legend. The question I had earlier for you is, how long do you think you have to be in the cupcake game before you're a cupcake legend? How long does that take?
Oh man, I challenge anybody to a baking contest.
Oh,
I
okay.
I love my chances. I think I perfected this thing. But
So you're a
honestly,
legend
man,
now. You're a cupcake legend right now.
every time I go into the gym, people are trying to figure out why I still look fit, but I'm a baker, so I think I'm a legend right now. I don't think a lot of legends or a lot of bakers that still can look like they can work out and lift the gym and things of that nature. So I think I'm a legend right now. I think I'm the only one that pretty much looks like me. The silver fox look, but still weigh 220 pounds and can still work out the way that I do. So, and by the way, play very good at pickleball now. So I'm a really good pickleball player also.
Wow. That's well-rounded, Ketch. That's
These are the
well-rounded.
things that you get on the Orangebloods live channel. Wow. Now you know that Michael Griffin, that pickleball is to Mike what English soccer is to me, Chad. You got to let us have these things.
Now, Michael, are you one of those guys I hear about that is keeping neighborhoods up, like waking up in the morning, keeping them up at night with the loud pickleball sound, that plastic sound? Are you keeping them up at night?
Oh no, not at all. I just keep 3 paddles in the bag in the car at all times.
Okay.
We're in Texas right now, so I just at all times, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. I got my golf clubs there and I got my pickleball racket, so I'm ready at all times. I'm not doing a lot of running, but when it comes to doing a little bit of pickleball, I'm always ready at all times.
Just singles or doubles as well?
Either one, whatever one you want. I'm ready.
Whatever we need. Okay.
I was about to say, Chad, that's a stupid question because he has this look on his face right now that he will do whatever kind of pickleball you want to do. Like he's
apparently.
Apparently. Whatever you need. Whatever you need me, I'm there. I'm ready at all times.
Who got you into pickleball?
You know what? At the local gym here at Lifetime, the South location, me and it was like 6 of us. We were like, they started putting the nets up, and we're like, what is this game? And you get tired of like going outside and running and trying to stay in shape or whatever. So it was just something like a group of us that started playing, and then from there, they transformed one of the basketball courts into a full-time court. So I actually joined a little league that I play in right now, and it's my pastime time. I mean, it's y'all know how it is to stay in shape and to work out, just to sit on a treadmill or run or ride a stationary bike. It gets kind of boring, so I just decided to do something that's still competitive but entertaining at the same time.
Fair enough.
Michael, I've been wanting to ask you this question for roughly, I don't know, 8 months. I think it was during the Longhorn signing day coverage on the Longhorn Network. You were talking about Derek Williams, the freshman defensive back, And
Mm-hmm.
I talked to I've talked to people in just the last week or so, former players who are pointing to this freshman DB, Quandre Diggs. I asked him, like, hey, who from this team do you really want to see? And he name drops Derek Williams of everybody on the team that he could want to see. Tell me about what you're expecting of this guy, because you're really high on him, and that's the position that you played. And I'm just curious what you see that would make you, feel comfortable like giving him such praise as a young player, given that you've seen everybody. I mean, it's hard to impress a guy who's been there, done that.
You know, the thing I like most about him is when you watch his game film, such as high school film, he's an athlete and he's a football player. And I think that's the biggest thing. When you go back to what Texas used to be back when we were really a good football team, 10 plus win seasons each and every year, you had just football players. Um, wasn't about the measurables, it wasn't about how tall you were, how big you were, how fast you were. It was can you play the game. I think you turn on his look and see that he's a football player. He's the guy that has a knack for being around. He can play in the air and the ball. He's a guy that will tackle his nose in there. He just seems like he's just arm that just loves the game of football. So that's why I'm just really hot. Some guys are over the field type player that all you can in the middle of the field and just let him run. You could put in a box and let him do a little bit of there, but it seems like he's a pure athlete. He's a good athlete at the same time.
Well,
Feels fair to what we're having going on today.
The Gremlins hate everybody.
I really was getting ready with my comment about how clear everything was, how solid everything was, and then I was having my accusations ready, and then all of a sudden it came to get him. So
and the thing is, he's not on a phone, right. Like we just on some fancy equipment, Chad.
It let him go. It let him go a while, though. It let him go a while.
It did.
It was really good.
Well, we'll try to get Michael back on in a second. He's actually got connection issues, Chad.
Is that what it is?
I don't know if you can see, like, he's in the yellow where we're in the green.
So
now he's in the red.
For that chat y'all said y'all stream is like the Aggie season last year. That's mean.
Uh-oh.
Why why keep bringing up the 5 and 7? That's what I don't understand.
Mike, we got you back.
We got him.
I'm
okay.
back. I could see y'all, but y'all couldn't see me. I was lost.
I don't know what's going on. You were sounding wonderful. Everything was perfect, and then we just kind of got cut off there.
Oh, okay, well, I'll say it again. The thing is, he's a football player, and I think that's the biggest thing when you look at and Jeff, I think you could allude to this. Back when I was playing, that's a football player. It doesn't matter whether or not the guy plays running back or if he plays receiver or whatever it is. He's just a football player. He does good things with the ball in his hand, but he knows how to find a way to be around the ball. When you look at guys, when I say that are football players, you look at a guy like DeMarvion Overshown. He was a football player. He comes in as a safety, and it just seems like the first regime, when it comes to the coaching staff, they were trying to find a way how to figure out how to get him on the field. And then you see that this new with Sarkisian, they find a way to get him on the field and find ways to blitz him, and he just continued to make plays day in and day out. So when I look at players, I'm just looking for football players. I tell kids, this young generation all the time, don't be stuck with saying, oh, I'm just a running back. If there's a way and there's an opportunity to get on the field, you do that. I came in to Texas as an athlete, played running back in high school, got there, it was like receiver, running back, and then ended up playing safety and nickel and things of that nature. But it was just trying to find a way to get on that football field. And I think that's the biggest thing when I watch his film is that he's a football player. So, the sky's the limit for him. It's just they got to find a way somehow to get him on the field, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Talking football with Michael Griffin. Michael, and let's stay on defense here. Give me an older guy, junior or senior, that you're really looking forward to seeing taking another step, another year of development and everything. My guy, I think, is Sweat. I love the interior defensive line. I think that's so important. So I'm interested to see how Tavondre develops. Who is it for you? Who are you really focusing on of the older guys?
Well, you got to go with the two other safeties. You got to go with Jaron Thompson, and you got to go with Jake Catalog for his coming from Arkansas. We saw what Catalog did when Arkansas played Texas a few years ago when they were down there at Arkansas. He was all over the field. Original Texas commit, but apparently he decided to go elsewhere. But he's back, and I know he got banged up a little bit, battled some injuries, but I'm really excited to see these two guys to see what they could do. I think Jaron Thompson. He last year, you go from his freshman year, you go to sophomore, and you look at last year, he really stepped it up. I don't know if it was because Anthony Cook managed to made him step his game up, or what it was. But if you go back and watch the film with Jaron Thompson, I mean, there were some touchdowns that should have been made by the opposing team, but he made a lot of great open field tackles, made a lot of great plays. And now it's time to see, can he find ways to get the ball in his hands. Last year versus Iowa State, he had opportunity, but I just seems like, like I said, you have guys that can do one thing and guys that can do other things, but can he be a complete safety? So this year is going to be, can the safety start getting their hands on the balls and creating turnovers? So I'm excited to see what these two safeties can do. So I have to go with them because both of those guys are going to be seniors next year. So they're going to have to be the guys that are going to have to step it up and carry this team.
Michael, last question from me, and it centers around Quinn Ewers. I mean, you got to see so much of this team very closely last year in the coverage of the team. You see a little bit of the early highs against Alabama. We've seen him Oklahoma. And then, there have been some other games during the season where the pendulum swings back the other way. I think it's like that sometimes with freshman players where it just swings back and forth between good and bad. And sometimes you have to just live through that. Let's say I don't know how much we can learn from the first game, but let's say we're 5 quarters into the season. We're a quarter into the Alabama game in week 2. You'll know that Quinn Ewers is on the right track to being the guy that they need him to be this season. If you see what?
I kind of lost you a little bit. You froze. Am I froze or no? All right.
I think you're
okay.
I think you're good now.
Good now.
I mean, we can hear you. Yeah, you're.
No, it's okay. We're talking. Okay.
Uh-oh. Maybe we're not good.
Hey, Mike, we're gonna have to. I tell you what, we're gonna bail. We're gonna wave. We've got to wave the white flag. It's us, not you. Let us reschedule this when we have better technical. Like Mike's frozen, so Blake, feel free to
thank you,
take
Michael.
Mike off. It's not his fault.
No, that was great.
All right. Well, we were like, you can't say we were 0 for 2.
No.
It feels like remember in Major League, Willie Mays Hayes' first base hit.
Yes.
It's
they say you can tell a lot. Yeah. They say you can tell a lot about the first hit, how the season's going to go, Ketch.
he gets on base, but you wouldn't say that.
I think I can say what the first baseman said right now that we're in this format. Let me see. Because he gets to first base and the guy says, boy, you really hit the shit out of that one, didn't you?
I won't say that we went 0 for 2 on the interviews. Probably went like 1 for 2 with a check swing, bunt single.
Yeah, exactly. High chop, bunt single. Yeah. And maybe a little bit of an error. They called it a fielder's choice. Probably should have been an error. But yeah, no, it was good. Michael Griffin gave us a lot of good stuff there. I loved hearing him talking about the defense and what they could be. I was just going to ask him at the end, kind of if he thought Texas was going Big 12 championship and who they would face. We'll ask him that. Hopefully we get him back on. But yeah, good stuff on the defensive side of the ball. And there's obviously I can't wait to see how that talent all around for Texas develops here in 23.
Guys, we're going to go ahead and just roll it out the rest of this the show. We've got like 12 minutes left before we get out of here. We are creeping up on 300 likes on the video. There's like over 400 of you watching right now.
Nice. Is that good? Is that a good thing?
That's a good number. I would have snapped if you offered that to me yesterday.
That's good. Okay.
We were over 500 earlier.
Okay.
I'm expecting that when the cleanup hitter checks in 20 minutes, that we'll continue to rock and roll. And Yeah, I think that. Sorry, Mike's back and was back. If
He's
I
such
need
a
to send
pro.
him, well, at some point, I will let Mike know that we're good. He may, bless his heart, maybe still trying to make it happen. No, I was going to say we got like 11 minutes left in the show. Get your final buy or sell questions in for the day. In like 20 minutes, we will have our 3 to 6 show. Chad,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't let the cat out. Are you proud of me? Because I've been wanting to offer hints.
No, please don't do it now. You're almost there, Ketch. You're.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not
there.
going to do it because I know.
I'm going to have enough people getting on me when we're done about, oh, you really? You couldn't tell me? Really? But I'm so proud of you. You're the worst at sometimes every time you start a sentence with no spoilers, comma, but you're about to spoil it. So I don't want you to do any of that. I just want you to stay the course. Let's stay the course. You literally have like 10 minutes to get through. You can do it. I promise.
Hold on, Matt. Hold that thought. Paxton, busted. Nailed it.
Oh, come on.
Come on, Paxton. Why'd you have to let the cat out of the bag?
Almost made it.
10 minutes of like we're just.
I'm telling. Hey, no, but look, just promise us this. When the My Little Pony intro plays, look natural. Just look natural. Pretend like we didn't tell you. Go ahead, Ketch.
I don't even think Blake knows me well enough that I've spoiled stuff for him.
Oh my God, you spoiled half of Breaking Bad for me, probably. I mean, like we would talk after Breaking Bad episodes, or thank God I didn't watch Better Call Saul when we were communicating regularly. I got to get to the end of that one normally. You didn't ruin any of The Wire, but oh my God.
It probably wasn't through lack of effort.
I mean, it's just crazy. I saw an episode of TV the other day and someone it reminded me of you. They're sitting on a couch and one of the characters turns to the other and says, in the book this is based on, that's the killer. And I was like, oh, that's such a catch comment. Oh my God.
My reputation precedes me. It doesn't seem fair that I'm being attacked like this, but
here's the
what
question.
they say about stereotypes. A lot of times they're based in truth.
This is the question, Ketch. No matter what is about to happen from 3 to 6, will there be a moment that surpasses me as Lou Holtz singing The Eyes of Texas for you?
Oh, I want that on a clip so bad. That's a highlight of my day so far.
Is it? Okay, that's good. That is good.
By the way, Corey J., you are late. Welcome. You're early for the 3 o'clock show, if it makes you feel any better. Yes, these live streams are now Monday through Friday. Anwar Richardson from 8 to 11. I really enjoyed his show earlier today. Man, I'm not going to say we were worried, Chad, but like Anwar's never done a 3-hour show by himself before. You know how it is. Like,
absolutely.
It's not like show up and it just takes care of itself easily. I thought the Old Fashioned Sports Show was great. Chad and I are debuting the House Divided show Monday through Friday, 12 to 3. And Chad and I will be engaged in game day stuff as well this year. So look forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. If you like this show at all, wait till you see us on game days this season.
It's a wacky idea. But I love it.
It's I'm almost about to go giggle bunny right now.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm excited.
In 17 minutes, we're going to announce our 3rd show. And I think a lot of people are going to be excited. And I think the full weight of what we're doing on the channel starting today, UT football practice starts in like 15 minutes. So by the way, later on in the show, wall-to-wall coverage in the 3 o'clock show, I'm sure on UT football. But if our next show host needs a little Orangebloods love to talk about what happened in practice, that's what we're there for. We're there to make life better for everybody.
Yeah, and what we said, and Jimbo Fisher had a presser today at 2 o'clock. Aggies are getting practice started. By the way, Ketch, you realize Texas A&M, this whole region, I mean, it's all over, but the highs in the Austin area the next 4 days are like 105, 104, 105, 105. The Aggies are going to do an open practice on Sunday. Here, you ever been to College Station in August, Ketch?
I have. It's miserable.
It's a tough one. It
The thing
is
is
just about Houston.
Chad, there was the conversation about someone had the joke earlier about the trees in College Station. Why are there so many trees? And it's like to block out the sunset and the sunrise.
Right, the burn
I
orange
have
sunset.
never been in College Station and thought there were too many trees.
No, that's true. That's true. You got to be in a real specific part of College Station to think there are too many trees.
Which is just it's a short way of me saying it gets hot in College Station, man.
It does. I did one summer session at A&M, and the worst version of it is when it rains. You know how it'll rain and then get hot and it burns off that rain? Wow. I mean, just unreal. So these teams, we would assume that because remember, week 2, A&M goes to Miami. Texas, of course, goes to Alabama, and those two places are known for being pretty stuffy and, muggy too. So these two teams better be ready to go in that regard. They're going to get some serious workouts this week. Now, what is this going on here?
Well, first of all, if this was his real name, what a $5 handle he has.
Ulysses Luan.
Feels very much like a gangster name.
It really does. People need to name their kids Ulysses more. We don't have enough of those.
There's not enough Ulysses out there in the world.
I went to school with a Ulysses back in the day, and I feel like it may have fallen off faster than Chad did. Nobody names their kid Chad anymore, and we need more Ulysses out there.
What do you call Ulysses? Yuli? Is like, do you go short there?
I'd go U-Dog, but then he'd punch me in the face. So
I would.
Yeah.
Yuli, I think it's very Adam Ulatowski.
Well, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Adam's family hasn't heard that name in a while. It's not a name that gets said all the time. I will drop some occasional Adam Ulatowskis on the show just to keep you on your toes in case you've forgotten who that starting left tackle was on that 2009 team.
So, Ketch, if this is the season for too much burn orange Kool-Aid, can you describe for me what Ulysses is doing here with this super chat? What is that?
I don't know what this is supposed to even say.
The total opposite. Buy or sell 0-13, even with favorable matchups, will go underutilized because Sark's love of the deep ball. Wow. Oh, wait a minute. Stop. I thought he was talking about a record. He's talking jersey numbers. Now I will start again. He's talking jersey numbers. Here we go.
Oh!
Okay. Buy or sell. So that's Sanders and Whittington, right? Even with favorable matchups, will go underutilized because of Sark's love for the deep ball. Now we're caught up. Buy or sell, Ketch.
Just because you give us $5 in the super chat does not mean it buys us a brain. Right?
Hey, Ketch, I earned my $5 right there. I earned my $2.50. What do I get out of that $5 for that one?
I was like, how are they playing in a bowl game if they're 0-12? How do they get to 0-13?
Can I get 45 cents for figuring that out, Ketch?
I'm gonna probably buy. I don't think Jatavion Sanders is going to be underutilized at all. I think Jordan Whittington is going to have his hands full with young receivers. How do they get Ryan Niblett on the field? How do they get Jonte Cook on the field? Yesterday, Sark talks about Isaiah Nayor and how he's back at 100%.
It's got a chance to be a buy.
I feel like we're going to have people who are like, why aren't these guys getting more touches? Yeah. And it's going to be like, well.
But I'd say that's got a chance to be a buy. I think it's such a great one. Thank you, Ulysses, for going there, because to me, Ketch, those are just two specialized guys. And if you know football and if you know, play calling and what you're trying to do, those guys can be used to completely screw with the defense. You can absolutely massacre a defense if you got those two guys out on the field. I've thought of all kinds of different formations they can go with. And if you do have 0-13 out there, put them anywhere you want, move them around. I would love to see Sark get so wonderfully cute with those two guys. And I mean cute in the best way possible. I keep saying Sark needs to lean in on the cute. His cute can kick people's ass in 2023. Sometimes he doesn't get cute enough for me, but lean into the cute with 0-13. I don't know if they'll use them enough as we'd want them to, but I think they are going to be a big part.
Adam I mean, Adam, it's not a super chat, but I want to get you on the TV.
Yeah, Adam. What's up?
There you are.
Adam.
There you are, big dog.
Hey, wait, let me point. Let me point right there.
Name, picture, statement. That's
Adam.
how it works. That's how it works.
Yeah.
I'll look out for you. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Today's 3 hours pretty much goes by fast. We are over 300 likes. Hey, give us a few more. We absolutely would appreciate it. Get notifications. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I think by the end of the day, we may have a 500 subscriber gain today, which, hey, man, if we can do that, that would be quite a first day. Any final comments as we're wrapping things up, Chad?
It's been fun, Ketch. I'm excited about getting it started. We had the technical issues, but that's sometimes what'll happen. But I'm really excited about it. Thanks to everybody for all the cool. I didn't see every great comment, but I saw a lot of really supportive comments. So thanks to everybody for that. I'm really looking forward to it, and we're gonna have some fun. I'm learning. I'll learn as I go on this new career after a 25-year career doing something else. Hopefully my skills translate. So thank you guys for day number 1.
Guys, we're going to wrap it up. Chat. One last thing. You feel good? Look, when I told you we're going live day 1 on Wednesday, right after the Tuesday, because we needed to take advantage of the UT football season. I mean, UT football practice is starting right now.
I know.
Now.
It was a little wow, Adam. Thank you, Adam. Not just to get his name on, but now a super chat of $10. Thank you so much,
the
Adam.
Dealer.
No, I'm feeling pretty good. And it was a cool feeling to know that practice was starting today. Obviously for Texas, you got the A&M thing getting cranked up. We're called House Divided, and Orangebloods Live is now rolling today. So it did make a lot of sense. Congratulations to you, Ketch, and most importantly, thank you to you, Ketch, because some people called and said, "How are you?" But you called and said, "I have an idea." Thank you, my brother.
We're 6 hours in, guys. 3 more live hours today on the channel. We're 2/3 of the way through. Our final announcement for our new shows comes up in 8.5 minutes. I am muzzling myself.
Don't do it.
Because in the final 8 minutes, I could say something to bring the whole thing down.
Don't do it.
But I want to make sure that Blake has plenty of time in the studio to get the next show ready to go. So look, for myself, for Chad, for Billy Liucci and Michael Griffin, who knows? They may both be back tomorrow. You never know. Or we'll have other guests.
We'll keep bringing it back till we get it right.
Yeah. They'll just come on indefinitely every day. Thanks for the super chats. Chad and I will be back tomorrow. We'll be talking about A&M's first practice tomorrow. And Texas will be getting ready to go into day 2. Lots of football to discuss, and it will continue in about 7 minutes. It just won't be with us. Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy your new show in 7 minutes. We'll see you tomorrow.